Oh boy. I think this guy got big mad that I called him anti-Semitic. Which, the video that he made criticizing that Avi Loeb dude, it absolutely was weird as here, have your TTS.
And
Let me use the restroom 1 sec.
Destiny? Hey, Destiny. It's Joe. We want you to come on. Are you free in September? Maybe the 18th? TF?
Ooh. Dear leader here, I hate to break it to DGG chat, but kick chat always, and I mean always wins. Come into disagreements and debate me about it. Get snarked. Ninja. PPS, kick chat, mods, MOG.
got this girl.
Hello, wait, is my mic working? What if I ran Nuxus?
Jew, 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 Jew.
Did you notice every single far lefty like Kyle Kulinski in Majority Report, when reacting to David Pakman's video taking a shot at Hassan, they never mentioned the anti-Semitic response from Hassan's chat calling him Aya Pakman? Wonder why.
They talk about the DSA, how MAGA talks about Trump.
A and A L, 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 A and A L. A and A L, 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 A and A L.
Destiny, you may keep me in your walls, but you will never silence me. I am back, L.
There goes Mr. Borelli once again, showing us that they are incapable of showing empathy or understanding. He sees one student in a locomotive-assisted device and immediately assumes this motion picture must be pertaining special ed.
67, 67, 67. Obama 67, 67.
Classic. Okay.
Including or not including lizard violence.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs. I want my baby back, baby back ribs.
Chat. Back. L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L L.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
That was 40 seconds long. Fuck that.
What a fucking liar, dude! What a fucking Weasley! Little liar, dude! What a fucking Weasley, little liar, dude! Holy shit, dude! Holy fucking shit, dude! Literally lying! Still lying to his audience!
How will you hold me accountable if the DSA abolishes prisons?
Mokes, Mooks, if you can hear me, I forgive you for making me look like a cut crab in front of everyone. Fuck you, Parsec.
I heard you've been talking about Obsession. I don't like the movie. Please discuss in groups. It's barely horror. It's a thriller. If I want to watch a thriller, I'd rather watch something like 7-7 Steven.
Mr. Bonarelli, you're a fantastic moron. Wait, hold on, did you hear that? My neighbors are making quite the ruckus. I will be right back.
No sleep tonight, ape.
No sleep tonight, Apis.
Ik now what you are.
Ike now what you are.
Ik now what you are.
Ik now what you're.
You should kiss your sister now.
Chat,
before you have sex? Are you supposed to have a boner before the girl sees it? Or are you supposed to be soft and then you take your pants off and then you become...
All you ladies, pop your pussy like this. Shake your body. Don't stop. Don't miss. All you ladies, pop your pussy like this. Shake your bod. Don't stop. Don't miss. Just do it. Do it.
All right, we made it.
Oh, my favourite footy team lost. Time to beat the missus.
Please, bro, one game of League of Legends, please.
What's that even supposed to be?
L, 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 L,
Oh,
L.
it's Pisco! How's the Hassan collab going? Wait, nobody likes him because he's fucking Pisco!
Why? Why?
Destiny, I miss you. Please leave Daniel Saltman.
The only thing I hate more than Palestinians are overfed Palestinians.
Obama!
What the fuck?
Oh, TTs.
How do I
You're
split
as
this and
beautiful
just
as the
send,
day
like-
I lost you.
Hey, everyone, Sleepy Joe Biden's sister here. I love him very much and I have consensual sex with him. I am 18 plus and everything we do is legal.
Okay.
All right.
All right, true.
So, this is what took Jader 6 months to do, huh?
Wait, is that real, Dan? Oh. He had other stuff that was going on, okay.
Oh, this is awesome. I can say anything. This is going to be cinema.
Jesiah wants to give Jeffrey Dahmer one more chance.
Stop. Okay. Jesus. All right.
Hey, everyone.
Oh. Ads wants me to watch the intro to this.
The blatant manipulation, opportunism, and perpetual victim complex is par for the course when dealing with disgusting Zionist frauds like him. Anyway. Science as much as they want, and if anyone exposes those lies, they're automatically an anti-Semite.
What, bro? This guy reaches so hard. Holy shit, he's obsessed.
I'm not sure if you noticed, but the whole world despises your ideology. The world knows your gaslighting and your Hasbara tactics. Shouting anti-Semitism at everyone that hurts your feelings is just going to hasten your demise tenfold. So keep it up, you worthless Zionist pile of filth.
And I didn't mention Judaism. I said Zion. Oh, just as a quick thing. The reason why it's so weird is like the video that he's responding to. This guy is like a weird. I think he's a fuck. I don't want to. He's like a flat earther. It's something weird. Or he believes in like the ether or something. But it didn't have anything to do with Zionism, or at least not in the Professor Day video. I didn't see anything about Zionism. Oh, he believes in aliens or something. So it was just so weird that he kept bringing in like, oh, this guy, everybody hates that you're a Zionist. I was like, what? Why?
It's tenfold. So keep it up, you worthless Zionist pile of filth.
And I didn't mention Judaism. I said Zionism. Get a grip. This kind of like rhetoric right here, you no, you don't. This is Nazism. Right here, right?
Hell yeah.
Deception and victimization are like the two key pillars of
true.
kind of neo-Nazi belief. It's the idea that
Holocaust.
Jews are secretly behind the scenes controlling everything to deceive you,
And they use the
deceive you
Holocaust to
about
do
their
it.
control. And then the self-victimization is they constantly harp about the Holocaust.
Oh my God. We get it, bro.
The reason why they have to harp about the Holocaust. Whoa, chill. This is because they have to center their victimhood so that they have an infinite blank check, basically, to deceive you and to control society. It's kind of crazy to just, but whatever. Apparently, he was unhappy with that.
As you know, I'm a science communicator who explains science and
Time to do politics, though. When it comes to Israel-Palestine, though, woo!
Debunks science-denying frauds. Quite the Venn diagram exists between anti-science propaganda, predatory capitalism, Christian nationalism, and Zionism, which means I end up...
Like, I feel like Jews are some of the more educated people on the planet, no? Are we really saying that Israel in particular is a country susceptible to fraud and like conspiratorial nonsense? Okay.
Bringing up Israel from time to time. Zionists hate that, so they attack me constantly, like what happened recently with a guy named Destiny.
Let's
talk about him. If you don't know who Stephen Bonnell, aka Destiny, is, he's a media personality who takes to defending liberal and progressive viewpoints on most political topics. He sounds smart enough when debunking MAGA talking points, and if that's all he ever did, you'd be hearing nothing negative about him from me. But that activity is dramatically overshadowed by his unrelenting Zionism and support for the
unrelenting
parade of human rights violations being perpetrated by the genocidal ethno-state that is Israel. Whether he is being paid by Israel or is genuinely just dumb enough to have fallen for Israeli propaganda and is in too deep now to admit it, I can't say. But he recently decided to poke the hornet's nest by doing a particularly slanderous live stream about me, accusing me of being a Jew.
Slanderous?
Hating neo-Nazi. It's called Professor Dave Goes...
Okay, I don't think I ever accused him of being a neo-Nazi. I'm just pointing out that the rhetoric he's using is neo-Nazi rhetoric. The deception and self-victimization are like the two big tenets of like neo-Nazi criticism. But I don't think he's a neo-Nazi. I think he's a fucking tanky. Or I don't even think he's a tanky, actually. He's just mind-fucked on Israel-Palestine. Like the entire fucking United States is, I guess, or the world is.
Mask off. And the thumbnail says, these fucking Zionists, where Zionists is covering the word Jews.
True.
Implying that I really just hate all Jews.
True. No, not all. Just like 90%, I think, identify as Zionists. So not all of them, just 90%.
In it, he is reacting to my third and most recent video exposing Avi Loeb, the astrophysicist and charlatan, in which, amidst breaking down his endless lies about science, I point out yet again in passing his ties to the Zionist lobby and how he employs Zionist tactics of gaslighting and playing the victim to deflect when his fraudulence is exposed. I'll just play you Destiny's intro stinger to his video so you can get a sense of it. The blatant manipulation,
I didn't even need to watch my thing.
Complex is par for the course when dealing with disgusting Zionist frauds like that. Anyway. As much as they want, and if anyone exposes those lies, they're automatically an anti-Semite.
What, bro? This guy reaches so hard. Holy shit, he's obsessed.
I'm not sure if you noticed, but the whole world despises your ideology. The world knows your gaslighting and your Hasbro tactics. Shouting anti-Semitism and everyone who your feelings is just going to hate you tenfold. So keep it up, you worthless Zionist pile of filth.
And I didn't mention Judaism. I said Zionism. Get a grip. This kind of like rhetoric right here, even though you don't. This is Nazism right here, right? Deception and victimization are like the two key pillars of kind of neo-Nazi belief. It's the idea that Jews are secretly behind the scenes controlling everything to deceive you, and they deceive you about that control. And then the self-victimization is they constantly harp about the Holocaust. Oh my God, we get it. The reason why they have to harp about the Holocaust is because they have to center their victimhood so that they have an infinite blank check basically to deceive you and control society. It's kind of crazy to just, but whatever.
Yes, he is literally calling me a Nazi. Deconstructing this...
Well, are we using literally here as figuratively? I'm not calling you a Nazi. I'm just saying that these are... whatever. I said it. I even said this is like neo-Nazi rhetoric, but okay.
Farce will come at the end of this video, but we have a lot of context to set up and information to get through first. Honestly, so many people have asked me to make a video formally summarizing my stance on Israel, and this was an excuse to do it, while also highlighting what a douche this guy is. Beyond his nauseating defense of Israel, he also has some really bizarre skeletons in his closet that I was able to come across. Hornet's nest, remember? But we will get back to him in due time. Now, many of you are aware...
I don't think he knows what skeletons in his closet. I don't think he knows what that means. Like, I don't think you would say like an active litigated court case or things that people say about you all the time are skeletons in your closet. That seems like stuff that's out front and out in front and center of everything, but okay.
That this is not the first time I've been harassed and slandered by Zionists, not by a long shot. Right after the genocide began, for several months I was spending way too much time on Twitter, relentlessly combating Zionist propaganda being disseminated by hordes of paid influencers whose job it was to brainwash the masses and manufacture consent for genocide. You've never seen propaganda anywhere in your life like what was being vomited up at that time.
Okay, so just as a heads up, there was a thing that I used to call, this the October 8th test to find out how fucking insane you are. And Professor Dave fails or passes extraordinarily, depending on how you consider that. These were the tweets that this guy was firing off on October 8th. October 8th, okay? If you feel the need to tweet about one innocent dead woman in a truck, but have never tweeted about the thousands of innocent Palestinians who are brutally murdered on a daily basis, thousands murdered on a daily basis under an illegal military occupation, you are part of the problem. October 8th, by the way. Zionism is not a religion, bud. Condemn Israel with 1,000 times the vigor and frequency that you condemn Hamas to be proportional to the death toll, and we won't have anything to disagree about. Now remember, for Israel, because we support them, I guess, is why we have to criticize them so heavily. And then also because of the ratio between how many people the IDF kills versus Hamas kills, like the ratio is really important there. But then when it comes to like the other actors in the region, like Hezbollah or the Houthis or Iraq or Iran or anything else, the numbers don't matter because I guess just because we don't support them directly. They always use this argument, but I feel like if we were to withdraw all support from Israel and then they were to begin like really genociding the Palestinians, would you just say we shouldn't do anything? That never made sense to me. I don't know. The idea that we only care because we support them and then you have to criticize them more than other people because of the death count. But if you look at the death count of anybody else, it's, yeah. If Israel didn't dehumanize Palestinians, Hamas wouldn't exist. That's the fucking point. They exist because of the blockade, the colonizers, the brutality. Use your brain. The blockade came after Hamas, but I wouldn't expect history to be done by any of these fucking people. October 11th, you naive toddler. Hamas didn't start it. They are the reaction to 75 years of brutal military occupation. Fucking educate yourself, okay? It's not a double standard because I know that Israel is lying literally always. They are manufacturing itself for genocide by fabricating beheaded babies. I think there was a French outlet that reported that incorrectly, the 40 beheaded babies thing. It didn't come from an Israeli outlet. And rape and countless other things. Sorry. That's January 3rd, to be fair, of the next year. It's not a Jewish organization. He's the president of AIPAC, the most influential lobby in America that has billions of dollars flowing to Israel with which to commit genocide. He should be in prison with a death sentence, so stop shitting your pants. I wonder who that's about. The president of AIPAC. I don't even know who that is. Is that me? Hamas doesn't have anywhere to hide. They are not a military. They're just people in Gaza. What? And Israel blows up civilian targets, simply claiming they're tactical. It's bullshit. October 13th. Nice. Most of what you're hearing about Hamas is fabricated, and whatever isn't doesn't amount to 0.1% of what Israel has done to Palestine over the past 75 years. Get your priorities straight. They're under a military occupation. The radicalization is Israel's fault. Haha! Minimize non-combatant casualties? Holy fuck, you are naive. Israel routinely does what Hamas did. They did it today. Who's talking about it? Fucking nobody. Pre-planned evil? They have a military occupation of Palestine. Just stop being ridiculous. This is October 10th. This guy is fucking unhinged. I don't know how many fucking tweets I've archived here, but holy shit. Anyway, based.
A fabrication of 40 beheaded babies, which Joe Biden himself publicly claimed to have seen photographs.
He said he saw photographs of beheaded babies. He shouldn't have said this. I don't know where. He might have actually seen it, though. But this claim was not originated by Israel. It was I think it was somebody said Channel 4. Is that a French outlet that fucked up and spread this claim? But
Graphic evidence of, only to later walk back and admit that no such evidence exists, since it's not a thing that happened. Fabricated claims of a baby being cooked in an oven. Endless claims of rape, when in fact it is Israel that systematically rapes Palestinian prisoners in the most brutal manner imaginable.
People don't talk about it much because nobody pushes these people, because nobody actually cares. Also, I don't know why they say, I know why. It's not 75 years of occupation. It would be like 60 years, but whatever. People say that, fuck, I just mind fucked myself. Oh, they don't believe that any rapes happened on October 7th. Or if they did, it was like one or two bad apples. All of them are consistent on this position. They're just never really pushed on it much.
A behind-the-scenes clip of a Lebanese short film used to claim that Palestinians were faking the war crimes against them, yielding the birth of the disgusting term Pallywood. Claims of immense networks of Hamas bases underneath hospitals to justify the bombing of every single hospital in Gaza, only to provide zero evidence of such bases after the fact, except a few planted guns.
Everybody acknowledges this. Even Amnesty International. Everybody acknowledges that these are bases that are used or co-opted. Like Amnesty International in 2014 did big reports on Al-Shifa Hospital, for instance, being used by Hamas for torturing people and as a base of operations. And there's like tunnels underneath. It was a huge blow to UNRWA's credibility when they discovered another big like underground thing that was right next to like the entrance of the hospital, or in such a way that they obviously knew they were operating there. But
several hours after entering, and a list of terrorists that was really a calendar. A tidal wave of lies in the form of social media activity that was viewed by many millions of people. Endless dehumanizing rhetoric to garner.
People say this: where the fuck was the mountain of Israeli propaganda after October 7th? It was exclusively pally slop. You can tell this too because these people, by the way, today. People like Professor Dave or Hassan will still tell you that big hospital bombing on like the 13th or whatever, that was an Israeli JDAM that hit a hospital and killed 500 people. It was like a Palestinian Islamic Jihad like rocket misfire that maybe I think like hurt like 30 or 40 people or whatever. Like it was not a fucking missile that hit a parking lot. Like, but this guy and other people will still believe that it was an Israeli JDAM. Yeah.
Support from the West for a totally pre-planned campaign of ethnic cleansing and land theft. At any rate, influencers were being paid to disseminate the narratives that the state had settled on each day.
Who? I keep hearing this claim. Who is getting paid? I haven't met anybody. I didn't get paid. Who was getting paid for this? Source? Nope.
I was shitting all over these disgusting frauds day and night for several months, and the wrong people noticed, so they dogpiled on me and got my account suspended.
Imagine getting suspended for anti-Semitism on a fucking neo-Nazi platform. That's crazy. That's wild to me.
People often note that you can find some really egregious anti-Semitism on social media, so my tweets must have been even worse than those of actual Nazis in order to merit suspension. But those people are very confused. Zionists love anti-Semites. They quietly celebrate their presence on social media because their existence fuels Israel's victimization narrative. Israel can bomb anything they want, shoot any child in the head, steal any land, but they will always continue to be the victims. Scary anti-Semites who want all Jews to die, whether a particular instance being referenced is real or not, are a key facet of this narrative. So that's not what gets targeted for suspension. What gets targeted is anyone who is effectively combating and exposing the state-sponsored Hasbara narratives, which I was doing with a passion. So I was booted from the platform, which honestly was a relief more than anything else, as this activity was starting to take a toll on my emotional well-being, and then their campaign to smear me began. First, the social media activity. This actually started before my account was...
Let's see, the smears. It's quite disappointing to read Dave's content. He's someone I follow for a long time, and it's disheartening to see someone who claims to be a scientist diving into conspiracy theories without taking the time to understand the actual facts. Regrettably, I've chosen not to follow him. Damn! Oh my god, the smear! It's so disappointing to read at Dave Explains. He's someone I follow for a long time, and it's a bit sad that someone who calls himself a scientist falls into conspiracy theories and doesn't bother to learn the facts. Unfortunately, I follow. Holy shit! I find it disheartening to read Dave's content, despite being long. Oh my god, are these bots actually? These kind of read like bots.
Terminated. Hundreds of tweets like this. Very obviously scripted and disseminated for all the lemmings to copy and paste. Pretending to have been followers of mine. Regrettably, they must unfollow because I'm a Nazi. It's all quite unconvincing. They do this all the time. You can always find clusters of scripted copy-paste tweets, like this recent campaign that Destiny would probably enjoy.
I hate both of these motherfuckers. I don't even know who these two down here are. These guys literally have it tagged that these are paid tweets, but okay.
You can always find clusters of scripted copy-paste tweets, like this recent campaign that Destiny would probably enjoy. Then came the harassment on YouTube. Thousands, and I'm not joking, literally fucking thousands of these for weeks. These came from the bot farms that Israel employs to shift the narrative on every platform they can. Optics are everything, and
where they lost on every single platform, by the way. Damn.
even this very blatant artificial activity can skew things in their favor to some degree. But that's just the beginning. Organizations like StopAntisemitism.org and Canary Mission are a form of weaponized retaliation against those who speak up for Palestine on social media. I was named Anti-Semite of the Week, along with countless actors and activists like John Cusack, Susan Sarandon, Mark Ruffalo, Roger Waters, Cynthia Nixon, Greta Thunberg, Bassem Youssef, Mamdani, of course, basically anyone who draws significant attention to Israeli crimes against humanity, thereby posing a challenge to the Hasbara narrative. You know, horrible, vile anti-Semites like Miss Rachel, the children's content creator who scandalously requested on social media that Israel stop bombing children, and who can be found singing songs with Palestinian double amputee toddlers. How dare she humanize children who have had their legs children, and who can be found singing songs with Palestinian double amputee toddlers. How dare she humanize children who have had their legs blown off by inhuman monsters. As part of these smear attempts, founder of Stop Antisemitism, Leora Rez, and other wastes of human life enact brutal campaigns to ruin the lives of whomever they target, doxing them and doing whatever they can to get them fired from their jobs, especially for medical professionals. For me, there was not much they could do. I'm self-employed. They tried to smear me on LinkedIn, but nobody gave a shit. Eventually, they move on. But perhaps with how much I've finally been talking about Israel in my YouTube content, as opposed to simply tweeting about them, a second wave of attention is coming my way. To demonstrate how no amount of criticism of Israel will ever be enough, there
was a post on the sub about how that TikTok he just showed of an Israeli bot farm with some Korean advertising company based. Was it a Jewish Korean, though?
Going to talk a lot about how awful Israel is. Truly, they are the most potent force of pure evil in the world since the Nazis.
Jesus Christ!
Ironically, the level of disdain they have for human life is beyond comprehension. Not simply the ability to murder tens of thousands of children like they're termites, but the delight they express in doing so, and the overwhelming support
it's good to kill babies
that is expressed by Israeli citizens for this genocidal activity. More than 80% of Israelis support the complete annihilation of the Palestinian people. It is a twisted, psychotic society that celebrates the destruction of innocent human life. They proudly announce it openly, their desire to wipe Palestinians and other Arabs from the face of the earth.
לגמור כמו שעבד בצפון, הוא צריך לעבוד בדרום, ולהשאיר את עזה ללא ערבים, ולהקים התיישבות יהודית בכל חבל עזה. כאשר אומרים ביישובי העוטף שרוצים לראות את הים, זאת אומרת, כדי לראות את הים צריך שלא יהיו לא בתים.
שאני מבין במקומות שלנו, עם הפרעים האלה לא היה שלום, אין שלום ולא יהיה שלום. לא שאני לא רוצה שלום, גם אני רוצה שלום. ארץ זה שייכת אך ורק.
We need to do the Patrick Bateman thing now, like, I want to see Hamas's videos. Let's see Hamas's videos.
לעם ישראל, וכל עזה וכל לבנון, כל זה צריכים לשאוף לנקות את הארץ מרוכבי הגמלים.
I don't care about Gaza. I literally don't care. For all I care, they can go out and swim in the sea.
אנחנו מטילים מצור מוחלט על העיר עזה.
ICC warrant, by the way,
אין
that
מזון,
guy.
אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם, ואנחנו נוהגים בהתאם.
עזה לא תחזור להיות מה שהייתה, וחמאס לא יהיה. חסל את הכל.
שחיילי צה"ל הם מעל הוויכוח הזה, ואי אפשר להאשים אותם מה שנעשה בעזה, חבל שלא נעשה גרוע יותר. אין בלתי מעורבים. כל מי שיעמוד בפניו וירצה לחבל במדינת ישראל, כולל אם הם ישלחו ילדים.
The very article I just cited corrected the number and the factoid he mentioned. A lot of these things are like half-truths or like crazy people that are interviewing. I think that Yoav Gallant thing, I think I've looked that up before. I think he was explicitly referring to Hamas when they were going into fight there. This was said like, I think within a week or two, I think after the war began, because I think that quote made it into the South African case that they brought against Israel for the genocide prevention stuff. And I feel like I looked into the source of that quote, and I think a few of them that they'll say they're talking about all Palestinians, but they're referring to Hamas. But the clip was dated the 9th of October, 2020. Yeah.
Have you seen enough? No, I don't think you have. Israeli lawmaker Yitzhak Kreuzer says there are no innocent children in the West Bank, defending the bloodthirsty behavior of settlers that murder helpless Palestinians. That Kreuzer.
Like, do I want to go look all these up? Like, I'm curious. Is this guy actually saying there are no innocent children in the West Bank? Or is he saying of the people that got killed in this incident, none of them were innocent children? If I were to look that article up. Fuck it. Let's go take a look. I'm not fact checking every single one of these. That guy's from Ben Giver's party? Oh, well, in that case, he probably does want them all dead. Hold on. Bum 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 bum. Defense killing of Palestinian family. A lawmaker from the far-right Otzma Yehudit party told the Knesset on Wednesday that there are no innocent civilians, no innocent children in Jenin, I think they might call this. Okay, so this is that's a fairly unhinged quote, but this is this Jenin is known as a place that you shouldn't go because you'll probably get fucking killed. Like, even our Palestinian tour guide that was willing to take us to Nablus wouldn't take us to Jenin. That's I'm not saying that that's that it's an acceptable quote, but that's I think I see it as one of the most you're gonna get fucking rocked if you go to this place. So it's probably more specific to this area. Again, still not the best quote, but a little bit different than saying all children in the West Bank aren't innocent. That would be crazy to make a statement saying that you could kill children because they're settler babies. I don't know who would say that.
Says there are no innocent children in the West Bank, defending the bloodthirsty behavior of settlers that murder helpless Palestinians and steal their homes on a regular basis with total impunity. The West Bank, no Hamas here, just Palestinians living under a brutal system of apartheid, steal their homes on a regular basis. Innocent children in the West Bank, defending the bloodthirsty behavior of settlers that murder helpless Palestinians and steal their homes on a regular basis with total impunity. The West Bank, no Hamas here, just Palestinians living under a brutal system of apartheid. Whether they are children or women, it doesn't matter to me. Journalist Shimon Ricklin says Gaza should be wiped from the face of the earth.
It's time for Nakba 2.
Journalist and politician Yinon Magal says it's time for Nakba 2, which means another massive wave of killing Palestinians and cleansing them from their territories to acquire these lands for Israel. Revital Gottlieb of the Likud party says, bring down buildings, bomb without distinction, stop with this impotence.
I would never defend the crazy. There are some fucking insane Israelis, there are, but you can find them saying insane stuff all the time. It's really weird to come down on somebody saying insane shit on October 7th, though. Destiny, why don't you just debate Dave? Dave will never talk to me on this subject. The pro-Pallies have to remain as isolated as possible on this topic because they have known nothing about the region, they know nothing about the history, and they have no prescriptions of what to do in this place. Obviously, I would debate him if he wanted to, but I think he's even in his own comment section right now, fighting for his life. Not fighting for his life, but telling everybody, I'll never debate Destiny on this. Oh, he might have deleted the comments, but... But October 7th tweets, I feel like I would give a little bit of leeway for somebody to be a little unhinged after you got terrorist attacked that fucking hard, you know? Like most of your stuff, Dave, but question you, if you're so passionate about the topic, why not just have a direct conversation? Why not just grow the fuck up and watch this video? Damn! Fuck, wait. Got him.
You have ability. There is worldwide legitimacy. Flatten Gaza without mercy. This time, there is no room for mercy. You think this hatred is reserved only for Palestinians? Think again. Israeli Minister of National Security Ben Gvir says that for every tear of an Israeli mother, 1,000 Lebanese mothers must weep.
This is fucking unhinged.
All of Lebanon must burn. Are you fucking listening? All of Lebanon must burn. This is not Israel-occupied Palestine. This is a sovereign nation with territory that Israel has lusted after since its inception, and which it is currently successfully stealing. But back to Gaza, Israeli military official Eliyahu Yassian says, there is no population in Gaza. There are 2.5 million terrorists. There is no meaning to giving them warning missiles. Israeli politician Moshe Feiglin states outright that Hamas is not the enemy. It's every child in Gaza. Every child. Toddlers. Babies. Babies are terrorists. Anyone who would say this is a sadistic monster.
Who said that? Who says that? Who's the famous baby settler guy?
There are entire databases filled with hundreds of instances of very clear incitement to genocide. They openly announce that they intend to commit genocide, not just random nut jobs on social media. Israeli officials, legislators, military personnel, decision makers, they all state this openly, the desire to completely wipe out the Palestinian population. Take a second and read this crap. This is a drop in the bucket. You listen to any of these assholes for long enough, you get some shit like this about human animals, or Amalek, who their God commanded them to destroy in the Torah, or whatever other rhetoric they can think of to justify the extermination of an entire race of people. Just like
You debated that Moshe Feiglin guy? Was he the guy? I've debated a few far right Israeli people, but over here it's always like the pro-Pallies that I'm generally fighting. If he is I don't remember debating many people. But there was one. I mean, all of the super Zionist guys are generally fucking unhinged.
Nazis did to the Jews in calling them vermin, parasites, rats, whatever they could do to dehumanize them. It's identical. They proudly announce genocidal intent and then later deny the actualization of that intent when accused of the genocide they are committing, gaslighting the world with rhetoric about how the IOF is the most moral army in the world, rather than the reality
Gaslight the world, true.
that they are actual terrorists. Here's Israeli Minister for Social Equality announcing how proud she is of the ruins of Gaza and that every baby 80 years from now will tell their grandchildren what the Jews did. They take pride in the complete annihilation of a people.
אני אישית גאה בהריסות של עזה ושכל תינוק, גם עוד 80 שנה מהיום,
What does IOF mean? Israeli Occupation Force.
יספר לנכדיו מה עשו היהודים.
And you don't have to take the word of officials. You can ask the soldiers themselves. They proudly brag about children they've killed.
We were looking for babies, but there is no babies left.
What babies? Say that again.
Huh?
Say it again.
No, maybe I killed a girl, she was 12, but I'm looking for a baby.
Do you like Palestinian children?
Yes.
Does it make you feel good when you bomb a hospital? Really?
Yes.
You guys kill children.
What are these videos?
In Lebanon, is that okay?
Yeah, this is okay because in Hamas,
What about the children, the babies?
the babies is good too.
Really, in Lebanon?
Yes, in Lebanon.
Is this like with the M4 or whatever? I don't even know what that gun is actually. Like this, is this a real video or is this just like a fucking propaganda piece? Like I got my rifle here and everything. Let me talk about how much I love killing babies.
In Gaza, in Iran.
Really? It's okay to kill babies in Iran?
Yes, yes. It's
And in
okay.
Gaza?
Yes.
And in Lebanon?
Yes.
What I need to know what the source of this video is.
You really believe that?
Yes.
Really? Have you ever killed any Palestinians?
I
Have you ever killed any Palestinian children?
I
How many?
I don't know.
You don't keep track?
No, but I can.
Okay. If anybody has a source of that video, I'd love to see it. Debate him, bet you won't, you're scared, lol. Why do none of you debate bro shitheads ask him why he's too afraid to debate me? He sure as fuck didn't reach up for calling me a Nazi. You're pathetic. Well, I think I did look for him on Twitter because somebody suggested this when I watched the first video, but his Twitter account is banned and I have no idea how to reach him. But but I'm pretty sure I said that. I wonder if I said that in the video, because if I did, then he would have seen me say, of course I would debate him on this topic. Destiny, Professor Dave explains. Nice, good one.
The blatant manipulation.
The blatant manipulation. Okay, I didn't say the word debate at least. When Professor Dave asks for that face-to-face debate fade, don't run away, my boy. Oh, you done fucked up, son. Oh, 5 hour. Oh, these are all from the recent video that you just published. Well, if he wants to chat, I'd love to have a conversation on this.
זיהינו 3 אובייקטים מתקרבים לעברנו לשטח שהוא שטח השמדה.
Wait, this is him. I couldn't find an exact video.
Hello? IDF? Israeli soldier? How many Palestinians have you killed?
What?
How many Palestinians have you killed?
20?
Uh-huh. Is this like real life?
I don't know what is Palestinians. I know Hamas. In Gaza there is not civilians.
In Gaza,
all Hamas. Terrorists.
In Gaza, there's no civilians. They're all Hamas. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Okay. So the 1 million kids in Gaza, they're Hamas?
Yeah.
What kind?
Oh God, and he's got this fucking lunatic on, of
Hello.
course.
Hello.
How are you?
I can't believe how much you guys included laundered this fucking lunatic's reputation here. Oh.
How are you? Where are you from, guys?
Israel. You love Israel.
I love Palestine. I'm from Palestine.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you? Where are you from, guys?
Israel. You love
Oh, hello. I've been looking for you.
What's up, man? You've been looking for me. What's going on?
I've seen your videos. I'm Israeli. Every day, on the news, at least one soldier dead in Gaza.
Oh. Tens of Palestinians are killed every single day.
Okay, and you know what happened on October 7th? At least
Does that excuse...
2,000 babies were murdered. At least.
What? Hold on. How many babies were killed on October 7th?
At least 100, I think.
You just said 2,000.
ואנחנו קיבלנו את הפקודה לחסל את 3 האובייקטים, כי הם נכנסים לתוך שטח השמדה שלנו. חיסלנו אותם, יש מג ונגר, 2 נשקים, ולאחר מכן התברר שזה היה 2 ילדים בגילאי בין 10 ל-12, והאימא שלהם, ואנחנו היינו צריכים לחסל אותם בסופו של דבר, הפעלת פקודות.
זאת אומרת, הרגתי ילד. אפילו לא... אני אומרת צבא, לא אומרת... לחשוב על זה קשה. זאת אומרת, הייתי חושבת על זה מלא ו...
It says, how long of this video is just like quotes from Israelis or Jews or...
Drop in the bucket. Countless children in Gaza have been targeted and executed by snipers. There are so many accounts from both local and international doctors who received child after child with a single precise bullet wound to the head. Again, soldiers state outright that they intentionally murder children and that they're specifically ordered to do it, while officials continue to put on a show and act offended when it is suggested that soldiers do the things they openly admit they are doing. This is the definition of gaslighting. And how do Israeli soldiers and officials justify this grotesque behavior? Naturally, they have divine permission for it. They state this openly all the time as well. They are the chosen people, so they can do whatever they want. They say Israel is allowed to ignore the directives of international law in any field it desires. International law doesn't apply to them, so they should be able to commit genocide. They say they are entitled to violate the sovereignty of foreign countries. This means that any land they desire is theirs for the taking. This is announced proudly, publicly, and supported by a citizenry that has been brainwashed into believing that they are genuinely superior to other peoples.
Kids trained to see Arabs as slaves and all non-Jews as inferior.
מה כמו שאתם פוגשים ילד חילוני? למה אתם בחיים עליו שלא ילד חילוני? מה הוא עושים?
They are inferior. Babies are terrorists. This is Israel. This is not some fringe political group. This is the whole fucking country. This is how they justify the slaughtering of countless innocent people, a thing that has been going on for almost 80 years now, but never with such ferocity as the past 2.5. And because the media will never show you these victims or describe their slaughter with accurate language, I will.
Really? Nobody in the media is talking about this. Okay.
This is who Israelis are talking about. Look at these people. Look at these children. That anyone could look at these children and call them terrorists that deserve to die is beyond comprehension. Israeli officials who carry out this activity are rotten to the core and beyond saving. They are twisted and evil. But any member of the global public that can listen to these politicians or their puppets on social media say these things and look at these children and remain resolute in supporting Israel is also a lost cause.
Legitimate question, Destiny. What would it take to change your opinion on this? I don't know. It's difficult to engage with questions that are that fucking retarded. For the people that are saying unhinged, insane shit in Israel, these are bad statements. They're horrible. But it's even worse when you just show one side and you pretend like it's only one-sided. You're disqualified from the conversation. You shouldn't even have an opinion on it. You're fucking retarded. I'm sure there are unhinged, insane fucking people in Israel. I met a few, and I've talked to a few, and I've debated a few that are absolutely fucking unhinged. There's a reason why they're unhinged, though, right? There's a reason why the Palestinians are unhinged as well. Both of these people have enough ammunition in even recent history to use against each other forever. But when you want to just cover one side of it, you're engaged in some insane anti-Semitic program where you're labeling every single Israeli citizen, which they now finally are openly doing, saying every single Israeli citizen is actually an unhinged crazy murderer, or when you're saying every single Palestinian is trained from birth to want to kill and murder and rape every single fucking Jewish person, right? It's not helpful on either end. Both sides have enough ammunition against each other. They want to hate each other. You don't have to. It's presenting it so one-sidedly is so stupid.
Anyone who supports Israel is either completely brainwashed or a racist piece of shit. They bought into the brown people bad narrative that has been pushed in the media and entertainment for decades in order to justify American imperialism in the Middle East. They fell for precisely the same dehumanizing rhetoric that led to the Holocaust. If you support Israel, you are a Nazi. There is no meaningful distinction between support for Israel today and support for Nazi Germany in the 1930s and 40s. Given the age we live in, the horror show that
really
is this genocide can be viewed by anyone with the courage to see it. It is the first genocide in history that has been broadcast globally in real time on a daily basis. It is undeniable unless you deliberately look away. So-called liberal Zionists, which is an oxymoron, are in denial of this reality. Their everyday lives consist of endless mental gymnastics to avoid witnessing the carnage. Their social media feeds are filled with propaganda peddlers convincing them that none of it is real. Genocide isn't real. If you don't go and look at it yourself, then you can pretend it doesn't exist. Well, I'm going to show you to the best of my extremely limited ability what is happening. This video almost certainly will not be monetized. I'm fully aware of that and I don't care. But I can't show you the true extent of the carnage, as that would violate YouTube's community guidelines, and my channel could get deactivated from a single violation of a place in this boring out of their app. Haunts me every time I look. The countless bodies dirt bulldozed on top of them, often still of this genocide. And then they get their last glimpse of daylight.
Evidence of torture with nearly 400 bodies found in Gaza, mass graves. Weren't one of these graves wasn't it just like a reused or like an actual just fuck when I'm trying to remember. There were a bunch of bodies buried outside of a hospital, and I remember there was some fighting that happened. And then when there was like an explosion or something, some of these bodies were uncovered, and people were like, "Oh my god, mass grave discovered." But it wasn't like a mass grave of like people who were murdered and thrown in a grave. It was like there was a ton of all the reporting on this was actual fucking AIDS for like 6 months at least. Well, I mean, all of it is still AIDS, but holy fucking shit.
There is no way for me to physically illustrate for you the true extent of this genocide. And that brings us to the main point of this video. Dickheads like Destiny deny the fact that Israel is committing genocide. This is beyond comprehension. Any honest person with the courage to look can instantly see what has been going on in Gaza for nearly 3 years now.
So courageous to join literally the most popular political movement online in the history of all the fucking world, which is Israel bad, Jew bad, and Palestine innocent and need to be protected, and get rid of AIPAC. What a brave position that is. Oh my goodness.
And it is objectively genocide. Anyone who wants to complain about how woefully unqualified I am to make that assessment, they can shut their dumb fuck faces, because you don't have to take my word for it. Every single human rights organization in the entire world has labeled this a genocide. Let me play a short clip from Mehdi Hassan, since he will be able to get this point across quite succinctly.
Gaza has been cut off from the world for almost 3 years and subjected to war crimes, ethnic cleansing, genocide. But if you say that, Israel and its supporters will accuse you of lying, of being anti-Semitic, of perpetrating a blood libel. So let me debunk this argument in less than 60 seconds by asking one very simple question. Start the clock. Do you believe Benjamin Netanyahu, Itamar Ben-Gvir, and Bezalel Smotrich about what's been happening in Gaza, or do you believe the UN Independent Commission of Inquiry, the UN Special Committee, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, the UN Special Rapporteur for the Occupied Palestinian Territories, 14 other UN Special Rapporteurs, the former UN Humanitarian Chief, UNICEF, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Bet Salem, Gisha, Physicians for Human Rights Israel, Doctors Without Borders, Oxfam, Save the Children, Christian Aid, Action Aid, Moses, the author of the book Danish Refugee Camp, Israel's Mossad, all of them, or Benjamin Netanyahu?
But Mehdi...
Those are the only two sides of that, by the way. And it's not even a question of what are the facts. It's a question of like, the most annoying thing too is it's a question of like, would you consider it a genocide? It's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine like a genocide where if one side surrenders, like everything stops. Like that's kind of hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine a genocide where the side being genocided like actively is continuing to hold hostages against the other side and refuses to release them for some reason. But it's just the most difficult question that these people have. That I've never heard a good answer to, and there's a lot of them that you can ask. It's like, what's the difference between like a bad one-sided war or just like a really violent war and a genocide? Like I don't know what the difference is, and I've never heard them actually enunciate a difference there. What is the difference between like a bad war or one-sided war versus like a genocide? I don't know.
Didn't you know that all of those organizations and all of those people are Hamas? The entire world hates Jews. Only Israel is telling the truth. Everyone else is a lying anti-Semite. Case closed. Anyway...
If they stopped calling it a genocide, what would the next point of contention you have be? I don't know. It depends on the specific claims they're making. But I think there's a lot of criticisms to be had for how Israel's conducted the war, especially some things that are like inexcusable. The WCK bombing, WCK or WKC, the World Kitchen whatever truck bombing is probably the worst in terms of them fucking up like horribly. But if the mindset is like all these fuck ups are intentional and they're just trying to murder as many civilians, not as they can, but as many as they can get away with, even though they're clearly not getting away with it. But I don't know why they won't murder more or whatever. Like it's kind of it's a conversation non-starter. Like how do you make peace with a group of people that you think is literally trying to genocide the other side? Like it's stupid as fuck. You can't and then these same guys who will say, well, 90% of Israel is on board with this and all of them are brainwashed to want to genocide the other side. And we can't even accept a two-state solution anymore because that's apartheid. So we're going to do a one-state solution. But somehow all of these people are going to live in peace with each other. What the fuck? I don't know.
More effective than just listing organizations, we can go through the specific details which demonstrate that this is objectively genocide. Let's start with the death toll. You'll see propaganda peddlers on social media cracking up about how it's the only genocide where the population actually increased. Disgusting. It's impossible to get a true count, but any official numbers you'll see that hover around 70,000 killed are so far off the mark, it's insane. And anyone complaining that these are fabricated Hamas numbers, 70,000 killed, are so far off the mark, it's insane.
Do you know, a casualty is not a death. Does he think that this said 240,000 deaths, and that's why he thought this was super far off? Did he not read this? But
and anyone complaining that these are fabricated Hamas numbers is brainwashed. An independent study in The Lancet estimated well over 180,000, half of which are children, and that was in July of 2024, 2 full years ago. Previous 180,000.
Oh my God, this...
fabricated Hamas numbers is brainwashed. An independent study in The Lancet estimated well over 180,000, half of which are children, and that was in July of 2024, 2 full years ago.
This was like an estimation based on like future deaths from bad conditions. This is like such a dumb, oh my God. Like somehow like 15 or 20% of the population has been killed, but we just don't know it. I don't know.
Previous estimates had been much lower because they only took into account bodies that were identifiable and directly correlated with airstrikes or gunshots. But thousands of bodies have been totally vaporized, leaving nothing identifiable behind. And thousands more bodies are still buried under rubble from all the carpet bombing or in still undiscovered mass graves. Additionally, so many people have died from wounds, from general poor health, from starvation, from freezing to death because they sleep through the winter in paper-thin tents, from disease because there's near zero health infrastructure. All of these are victims of genocide. They are deaths caused by the total and complete destruction of a territory and everything a society needs to survive. And Israel hasn't stopped bombing Gaza.
It gets cold in deserts. I'm just curious. Weather, January 1st, Tel Aviv. January 1st in Tel Aviv typically brings mild winter weather with average daytime highs around 64 to 65 and nighttime lows around 50 to 51. Are people freezing to death in the Mediterranean? Is this happening? Okay. Maybe.
Gaza for a single day since July 2024, ceasefire or not, so the number is much higher now. Israel has murdered hundreds of thousands of Gazans.
I like how we just got to that. Okay. Oh my God. I thought the Gazan Health Ministry is still saying 70,000. I think it's like 70 to 75, but I don't know. Whatever.
Likely at least
white people want that number to be way higher, so it is, I guess.
20% of the Gazan population. That's genocide. It is a maximization of thousands of Gazans. Likely at least 20% of the Gazan population. That's genocide.
At least 20% of the Gazan population. So now we're past 400,000. At least 400,000. But okay.
It is a maximization of casualties while still maintaining their version of plausible deniability. They also specifically targeted hundreds of journalists, well over 1,000 doctors, and other key personnel publicizing the genocide and keeping citizens safe. That's genocide. The continued use of white phosphorus and other illegal weapons as documented by Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International. That's genocide. It's very easy to get much more...
How is that genocide? White phosphorus, you're not supposed to use it on humans, but you can use it to cover retreats or whatever. But even if you did use it, I'm pretty sure, I don't remember the specific distinction. It would be some kind of war crime, but it wouldn't be genocide. But I guess you theoretically could commit genocide with white phosphorus. You start like trying to genocide civilians with white phosphorus.
Granular with it as well. Francesca Albanese of the UN Refugee Agency published a report way back in March of 2024 that outlined a determination of genocide, and she has continued to update that report ever since. It documents explicitly stated intent for genocide, the long list of violations of international law, systematic torture and sexual abuse of prisoners with no legitimate charge against them, a total erasure of culture, the stripping away of any sense of dignity for an entire people. Israel really hits every single point on the genocide checklist. For writing these reports and sharing these determinations with the UN, Francesca has faced a volume of harassment and threats to her personal safety that I can't even begin to imagine. And that's coming from someone who is harassed every day and receives threats sporadically. You heard Mehdi's...
The harassment that I couldn't even imagine. For her public stance, Albanese's life has been threatened and her family put in danger. She has faced the prospect of arrest in Germany for her choice of words. Okay. We have Donald Trump's administration has named her a specially designated national, a term usually reserved for terrorists, drug traffickers, and the occasional murderous dictator. She's the first UN official to receive the designation. I'm going to assume this article details other... It wouldn't surprise me if people were harassing her or whatever, I'm sure, because there are some mega pro-Israeli or probably Arab haters that I would imagine, but I'm just saying this... I'm sure it's in the article. I'm being charitable there, hopefully.
I can't even begin to imagine. And that's coming from someone who is harassed every day and...
What has she said, actually? Well, the Francesca Albanese, she was the special rapporteur lady or whatever for one of these, I think, right? I'm curious. I'm curious what she's actually said on this. Actually, now, if Germany was considering arresting her, I don't know what prospect of arrest means. Francesca Albanese quotes Israel. I don't know. In her own word. Oh, the ADL. She's the first special rapporteur to be condemned by both Germany and France for anti-Semitism. Damn. Below are select statements from her. This no longer a fragile minority, no longer diasporic people, no longer the people of the book, but the chosen people chosen to dominate. That's not that bad. Albanese claims that Jews have learned that to survive in this world, they need to be superior. Okay, and so they have accepted the Jews, but not all of them, especially those that learn to survive in this world. That's not too bad. Albanese likened the systematic extermination of Jews under the Nazis' pure race policy to Israel's war on Hamas and Gaza. Everybody does the Nazi shit now. The Nazi comparisons. It seems to be like standard, the standard kind of like tropish talking points. I don't think I see anything like exceptionally horrible here. Just what I would expect to see fucking pro-pally lefty people say.
Receives threats sporadically. You heard Mehdi's list, but let's expand a little. Human Rights Watch cited starvation as a weapon of war and the creation of conditions calculated to bring about the physical destruction of the Palestinian population. Doctors Without Borders cited the testimonies of doctors reporting that they routinely received children who have been shot in the head or chest by snipers, as we mentioned. UNICEF reported that essentially all of the million or so children remaining in Gaza need mental health and psychosocial support due to immeasurable trauma, especially the thousands who have lost limbs, usually amputated without anesthetic, and those who have lost their entire families. The International Association of Genocide Scholars stated that the legal definition is cleanly met, citing war crimes and crimes against humanity. Jewish Voice for Peace, Amnesty International, even several Israeli organizations. It's a long list of organizations, and the list of criteria that qualify this as genocide is never ending. 90% of Gazans displaced, absolutely all farmland unusable, continuous blocking of humanitarian aid, starvation and life-threatening malnutrition, mass executions of healthcare and rescue workers. Israel is a club of genocide overachievers. If you deny the fact that Israel is committing genocide, you are no different from a club.
What should you do as a casual viewer to not follow propaganda like this? For the Jew shit, honestly, this was like you had to read all the original sourcing on everything because everybody gets fucking mindfucked when it comes to Israel. And then the sourcing is like you have to read like oftentimes at least from the stuff that I've read on the UN with their treatment of Israel, the fact gatherings themselves are actually usually pretty good. They seem to be pretty in line to me. It's just like the conclusions you'll reach will become like very weird. The most prominent example of this had to do with when they went through the unjustified killings during the border riots or whatever, like they use an analysis to tell you that like 120 people were murdered by Israel unjustifiably or whatever. But when you actually read the whole, I don't remember, it wasn't that long. It's like maybe, was it even 100 pages? The UN report on it. They explain their rationale for how they analyze it in the beginning, and they don't analyze it as an armed conflict event. They analyze it as a policing event. And when you use a policing event analysis, generally speaking, I guess, I don't know if this is like an international standard, but generally speaking, police don't kill people unless there's like an imminent threat to your life. Like it almost has to be a self-defense thing, or like a fleeing felon or somebody fleeing that you think might be about to murder somebody. So kills that you could generally say are fair kills in an armed conflict scenario don't become fair kills in a policing scenario. So that's how they get to that number of like 80 or 120 like unjustifiable kills or whatever, because they treat it as a policing event. So you have like during the border riots, you've got a ton of people that are setting the tires on fire. They're trying to cut the wire. They're trying to run through. Some of them have guns. Some of them have bombs or whatever. If you shoot and kill any of those people, that's considered unjustified because they're not presenting an imminent threat to somebody's life, which is the country just like fucking, it's like a brain break. Yeah.
climate change denier or an anti-vaxxer or a fucking flat earther. You are denying the very obvious reality that we live in. Did you hear that, Stephen? Then let's talk about the complete demolition of the entire territory. Israel wants people to believe that they're the most moral army in the world, taking every imaginable measure to protect innocent civilians while exclusively targeting filthy Hamas terrorists with laser precision. This is total horseshit. I mean, again, they proudly announced that they want to murder every last child in Gaza, so anyone who believes them when they say the opposite is a moron. But more importantly, there objectively is no precision whatsoever to the destruction in Gaza. More than 78% of Gazan infrastructure has been demolished by relentless carpet bombing.
I think that number that he's referring to, I think, was in like the first year of the war. It's like 78% has some damage, not necessarily like completely destroyed or whatever, but I don't know what their number stands at now.
Hospital, every school, every bakery, every city demolished.
What is it about the Israel-Palestine conflict that breaks the minds of people? It's just it's got enough for everybody to have like a strong opinion about it. Oppressor, oppressee, Western world versus non-Western world, Jew versus Arab, brown versus white, imperialism, colonialism, America, foreign involvement. There's just like everything. Occupier. There's like every possible thing that you could ever care about can be represented in Israel-Palestine.
Refugee tent camps were set up. They bombed those too. They tell them to evacuate even though they have nowhere to go and then bomb them anyway. They give them safe routes to evacuate and then bomb the safe.
You didn't address carpet bombing. Was there actually any? No, but I mean, like, there clearly isn't. Like, you can look at the death numbers. Like, as horrible as it might sound to say, like, if this was indiscriminate bombing, you would have expected to see way more people die. Like, the idea that they would have spent so much, that they would have bombed so much, and you would have, up to this point, 75,000 or whatever deaths to show for it. It just doesn't make sense. There are ways that you can... The way that they try to weasel out of that is like, well, Israel is trying to commit a genocide and kill as many people as they can, but they don't want to kill too many because then it'll be called a genocide, but everybody's calling it a genocide anyway, so yeah, I don't know. It's dumb.
Those two. They tell them to evacuate even though they have nowhere to go and then bomb them anyway. They give them safe routes to evacuate and then bomb the safe routes.
See, like, this is like true. There were some safe areas that were like declared by Israel, kind of like not official safe areas, but like recommended areas for passage. But the problem and the reason why some of these started to get attacked is because when they would declare these as safe passage areas, Hamas would begin fighting from these areas. They would do it intentionally. Like, there were no mutually agreed upon, unless it happened in the last year and I just didn't see it because I haven't followed as closely. But there were no mutually agreed upon like safe passage areas for civilians because Hamas will never work to defend the civilian population because they always utilize those deaths as much as they can. Their goal is always to incite maximum civilian death because it helps their side and their propaganda machine more.
They designate safe spaces and then bomb those too. And when they occasionally let in food, they shoot at Gazans when they try to get it. It's complete annihilation combined with twisted psychological torture.
Why are international institutions like the UN calling it a genocide, though? The UN, so the only body, as far as I'm aware, that can officially make that designation is the International Court of Justice. And I think we're still waiting for their ruling on that. Any special committee, special whatever thing is like whatever you want to consider it, but it wouldn't be like the UN. Like, it would be the International Court of Justice that could ultimately make that determination.
It's very easy to look at image after image of the destruction to see that there was zero regard for precision. They weren't aiming for some imaginary terrorist. They were never doing anything but destroying Gaza from day one. You're not convinced by these images? Too small in scope? Let's get a broader top-down view.
How do they mutually agree on shit like that, LOL, mid-conflict? Well, that if you're doing the rules of war, I mean, like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be taking care of your civilian population and being regarding the enemy civilian population as well. That's part of your obligations as a party to a conflict. Wouldn't Israel also be worried about damaging their U.S. relations if they go too far? No, I think they would have to. I think the internal support wouldn't be as big either, because I mean, there are a lot of people in Israel that don't want to see the Palestinians genocided, despite these people always saying otherwise, like Bet Salem and these leftist organizations in Israel. These are Israelis, staffed by Israelis. Now, I don't know how that opinion has changed post October 7th. I'm sure that opinion has decreased a bit. But for the far right of Israel, I don't even know if they want to be attached to the U.S. anymore. Like, they might be happy to see that relationship wither a bit because they might feel like it gives them more flexibility to operate without the U.S., restraining them in any way.
Down view.
Destiny. International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrant against Netanyahu and his deputy over genocide in Gaza. I don't remember if that was why those ICC warrants were issued, but the ICC cannot make a determination that a genocide has taken place or that a country has committed genocide. The ICC can only issue warrants against individuals for crimes that they think. It might be the crime of allowing a genocide or something. Maybe the ICC might be able to do that. I would have to go back and look. But the determination of if a genocide has occurred is done by the International Court of Justice. That's what rules with regards to states. Holy shit. It might have just been war crimes. Okay, yeah.
Presta atenção nessa cidade, ó. Uma cidade normal, né? Tá cheia de pessoas, avenidas, cheia de construção. Eu vou mostrar pra vocês como que isso daqui é uma foto de satélite de 2023. Agora, olha como é que ela tá agora. Cadê a cidade? Cadê? Cadê os prédios? Cadê as pessoas? Vou tirar o zoom pra você ver o tamanho dessa área destruída. Olha o tamanho dessa área destruída. Olha isso aqui. Isso aí é a cidade de Rafah, no sul da faixa de Gaza. Fica na fronteira com o Egito. Essa área destruída, só nessa área destruída, ao sul, toda essa área cinza. Toda
Pangbergen said, I have offered Dave the date with Destiny, but he has declined. RIP.
Essa área que eu der um zoom aqui, eu vou ver uma área destruída. Essa área aqui é maior do que a área que foi destruída pela bomba.
What are the chances they rule that this was/is a genocide? I honestly have absolutely no idea. The submission by South Africa was fucking retarded. So I don't know, like a lot of the quotes and everything just don't really follow from what they were saying, but I don't know, who knows? Who knows?
De Hiroshima, a bomba atômica de Hiroshima. Qualquer lugar que eu aponte aqui, eu vou ver casas destruídas, destruição, uma das coisas mais horrendas da história humana. E isso aqui vai assombrar a humanidade por muito tempo. E o holocausto da Segunda Guerra se repetiu, infelizmente, e ninguém conseguiu impedir. E até agora os responsáveis por esse crime contra a humanidade estão rindo à toa. Fica aqui esse registro, porque é uma coisa assustadora. E como o olho que tudo sabe, tudo vê, não apaga a imagem, essa é a imagem real. Contra fatos não há argumentos. O que aconteceu aqui foi um genocídio.
It doesn't get any clearer than this. Gaza is now an uninhabitable wasteland. Absolutely nobody can keep a straight face and say that this level of destruction had anything to do with targeting terrorists while keeping civilians safe. We can know this with even greater certainty by looking at what they're doing in Lebanon.
You have an issue with the framing that it's a genocide, but you don't have an issue saying that Israel is doing fuck shit right. Are people really upset with you over the word? People are upset over the word because they want to invoke maximum hatred for the country of Israel because they want the country to be eradicated as a Jewish majority state. They wouldn't even... Finally, they're masked off enough that we don't have to fight over that obvious point from October 7th onwards. This is so obvious. But they will say now that the existence of Israel as a Jewish majority state has to be eradicated. It needs to be a state... They'll say equal rights, but what that really means is the Palestinians will get the infinite right of return, millions will come back, and then Jews will be a minority, and then who the fuck knows what happens from there, is what they're generally... Not generally, that's what they push right now. That's why they push against the two-state solution. Israel destroys entire villages in Lebanon during 3-week ceasefire. I think the most annoying thing about all of the the one-sided coverage is that it really does seem like why does Israel attack all of these people? Like, why are they attacking Gaza? You know, what's going on there? And we never hear about that. Like, why is Israel trying to attack Lebanon? I guess just to invade and steal land? Like, we never hear about why.
Village after village, town after town, not individual buildings, the entire town. This has nothing to do with terrorism. This has nothing to do with Hezbollah, whose label of terrorist organization is laughable to begin with. Hezbollah and any other group that is labeled
Wait, what? Hold on, sorry.
To do with individual buildings, the entire town. This has nothing to do with terrorism. This has nothing to do with Hezbollah, whose label of terrorist organization is laughable to begin with. Hezbollah and any other group that is labeled terrorists by Israel are simply people desperately defending themselves against Israeli terror.
Like this is just it's just really like a TikTok slop video. Hezbollah was literally founded by Iran and pushed into, or founded by Iran in Lebanon, and is like a militia now that runs a large part of that country. Like Hezbollah... It's pretty easy to say that Hezbollah are bad guys. This is also something really frustrating. These people will virtue signal to the ends of the earth on the genocide term, and anything less than that is completely and totally unacceptable. But for some reason, they can't acknowledge, like, really basically, like, the Houthis are not the good guys, and like Hezbollah are not the good guys. You don't have to hand it to Hezbollah. You don't have to hand it to the Houthis or hand it to, you know, like torture and rape and murder and everything from Hamas. Like you can't actually. You can never criticize both sides in this. You literally have to be on one or the other. It's so fucking stupid.
Terrorism. Hezbollah formed as a direct response to the Sabra and Shatila.
We know why, ... But you don't have to blow up towns, ? I mean, it'd be nice if you didn't, but like, Hezbollah literally repurposes like garages and houses to launch missiles and shit out of in southern Lebanon. This is what they do. They live in and they occupy towns, and then all of their weapons are stored there. Like, you can see this. Again, Amnesty International, other people have literally reported on this. Like, this is how they operate. It's not good, but like, man, it would be nice that if there was some pressure on the other side as well. That's just crazy to me that nobody says fuck all about the other side of this, ever.
Simply people desperately defending themselves against Israeli terrorism. Hezbollah formed as a direct response to the Sabra and Shatila massacres, for example. Israel is the aggressor state, slaughtering anyone they please, and anyone who stands in opposition to that is labeled a terrorist. These groups are the rebellion in Star Wars. Israel is the fucking empire. Do you think Emperor Palpatine would label Luke Skywalker a terrorist? Of course he would. Supporting Israel is like rooting for the fucking Death Star.
True.
But again, this level of destruction...
Did he really say that Hezbollah is not a terrorist organization? Like, really? Holy crap, brain rot much? That is the standard position of all lefties. You just don't know this because nobody knows anything about Israel-Palestine. Nobody in the mainstream media, nobody knows anything about this fucking region. So nobody asks any of the correct questions. But yes, every single lefty, every single far-left person, Hassan and all these people included, will say that Hezbollah is like a legitimate governing force and military in Lebanon. That's it. You yourself make fun of people who both sides an argument. I'm trying to... How fucking retarded do you have to be to make that statement? Like, do we want to have pizza tonight or do we want burgers? I don't know. I can kind of see both sides, you know? But Destiny, didn't you say both sides a bad argument? Yeah, when comparing Republicans and Democrats in the United States of America, it's fucking retarded. Does that mean that you can't see two sides of anything else on the fucking planet? Because I don't think there's a both sides argument to be had with how equally bad the Republicans and the Democrats are in the United States. In most international conflict, generally speaking, it's very rare that there's an entire group of people that are unhinged and unreasonable. Usually people have a reason for why they feel the way they do. Usually.
Has nothing to do with Hezbollah or any other supposed terrorist group. This is demolition. This is an erasure of a people, their lives, their culture, to make room for Israeli expansion. A huge chunk of Lebanon is Israel now. They will build, settlers will come, and that's the end of it. Then they'll steal more land tomorrow. Chunk of Lebanon is Israel now.
Israel's mass evacuation orders in southern Lebanon. I don't know if this is all they're planning to take. But I like how, is this supposed to look like this is Israel and this is the new land they're taking too? Like they're doubling the size of their country? Obviously, Israel's down here, but...
Now, they will build, settlers will come, and that's the end of it. Then they'll steal more land tomorrow, and the cycle continues. They'll tell you themselves if you ask them. Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich sure did.
בוא נדבר על היום שאחרי המלחמה בהיבט הנדל"ני. אתה כבר התבטאת לו פעם לגבי חידוש ההתיישבות היהודית ברצועת עזה. שאלה פשוטה, איפה מבחינתך צריך לקום היישוב הראשון ברצועה?
אני מודה שלזה לא ציפיתי, אני מוכן להתחיל מהתוכנית הצפונית, אבל...
חידוש ההתיישבות היהודית ברצועת עזה. שאלה פשוטה, איפה מבחינתך צריך לקום היישוב הראשון ברצועה?
I mean, they literally pulled out of the strip in 2005, but aren't they literally about to lose their election? Who the fuck knows, bro? Netanyahu is the vampire that never goes away in Israeli politics. Hold on one second.
אני מודה שלזה לא ציפיתי, אני מוכן להתחיל מהתוכנית הצפונית, אבל סתם, זה לא מצחיק, יש תוכנית עסקית, תקשיבו לי טוב, יש תוכנית עסקית שנבנתה על ידי אנשים הכי מקצועיים שיש, שנמצאת על השולחן של הנשיא טראמפ, לאיך הדבר הזה הופך לבוננזה של נדל"ן, אני לא צוחק, מחזיר את עצמו. אגב, אני התחלתי משא ומתן עם האמריקאים, ואני אומר את זה לא בצחוק עכשיו, כי אני גם דורש, הרי אנחנו שילמנו המון כסף על המלחמה הזאת, אז אנחנו צריכים להתחלק, איך אנחנו עושים אחוזים על שיווקי התחדשות.
Estate mogul cosplaying as the president of the most powerful nation on earth. It's going to be a bonanza. When you decide that you want to steal some land, first you demolish every chosen people. Building is left. Do you understand now what has been happening since October 7th? Do you understand that it was never about terrorists or protecting Israel or getting back hostages or anything of the sort? Not for a single second was it ever about any of those things. Israeli officials...
Like I said this a long time ago, imagine how fucked, like this would have been a political outmaneuvering. Imagine how fucked Netanyahu would have been if Hamas released all the hostages like a month into the war. Whoo! That would have been a tough position for Netanyahu to be in, but they kept those hostages for so fucking long. Holy shit.
didn't give two shits about hostages. They were an excuse to keep bombing. There were deals on the table early on that involved a ceasefire in exchange for all of the hostages being returned, and they refused.
And in exchange for Hamas remaining the power of the region that was going to be restricted by Israel, and it wasn't going to be permanent ceasefire. We always leave the other conditions out, but okay.
In October of last year, they got all of the hostages back that they didn't kill with their carpet bombing. That still didn't stop them. And I wish I had saved my tweets from early in the genocide, but I didn't, so you'll just have to take my word for it. But I was saying all of this. From day one, I knew that this was premeditated ethnic cleansing and land acquisition, belligerent imperialism in the 21st century. Everything I was saying came true. That Gaza would become Israel, that they would do it to Lebanon too, and I was silenced for it. Anyone who didn't have their head up their ass could smell it, but if you couldn't see what was happening then, do you see it now? Smotrich says they paid for this war. They paid money to fabricate pretense for a military operation with the singular goal of clearing out Gaza to keep it, with Lebanon and Syria to follow shortly after. Now that they're most of the way there with Gaza, an American military base is being built within the territory.
On the flip side, if Israel didn't go full 1940s Germany as a response to October 7th, the entire world would have sympathized with them on the Hamas issue rather than being the most hated country on the planet. No, probably not actually. Most people don't give a fuck. Most people think that the border riots in 2019 were like peaceful protests at like the Great March of Return. Like, I don't think so. I don't think that would go. Nice one though.
And plans are
also what I mean. The Israeli country would have like torn itself asunder. Like, you expect them to just kind of like chill and do nothing after like the largest terrorist attack in fucking history? Like, Jesus, I don't know.
Your way to round up remaining Gazans and put them into concentration camps while they clear out the rubble and start to build new Gaza. You heard that correctly. Zionist Jews are going to put people in concentration camps. And you heard the other thing correctly too.
At Destiny, Hamas offered that multiple times. Israel said they weren't going to stop bombing them. It wouldn't have mattered. Then why keep them? Why not just release the hostages? You would 100x your international and even the domestic support. It would be so hard to justify anything like the continue. Why would you always give them that thing to fall back on? The reason why, like, and again, nobody that makes videos like this will ever acknowledge, is because Hamas invites the civilian death. They want as many civilians to die as possible. They want as many civilians to die as possible. It is the goal, so that people like, Professor Dave can jerk off over these dogshit fucking TikTok slut videos they make on it.
New Gaza is already being sold to the American public. Jared Kushner, Ivanka Trump's husband and haunted marionette, unveiled the plans for New Gaza, which will be luxury resorts as far as the eye can see, with some land carved out for Trump as a thank you for greenlighting all of this. And guess what? If you were one of those folks thinking that Israel's actions are way over the top, but what are you going to do because October 7th? Well, I'm going to take that away from you as well. Israel almost certainly knew what was going to happen, and they did nothing to stop it. The music festival taking place just 3 miles from the Gaza barrier was moved there from its original location at the last minute.
Like, again, we could just say, we don't have to say anti-Semitism, I guess. But if you were to make any of these claims at all about like an Islamic or Arab, country saying that they were intentionally moving civilians to be killed by enemy, they would call you Islamophobic, 1,000,000,000%. They call it Islamophobic. Like, not even close. You wouldn't even have to do a tenth of that. You're taking random quotes from Arabs? That's not fair. What, do you expect every Arab to denounce ISIS? Oh, do you expect every Arab to denounce 9/11? Oh, does every single Muslim have to say that they don't agree with the Ayatollah? Does every single Muslim have to denounce every single terror bombing in London, in Miami? Like, people say this shit all the time. But for Jews, it's literally every single Jew. I mean Israeli. I mean Zionists.
Military response to initial activity was delayed for hours in a way that is difficult to justify. Israeli soldiers were even ordered to cancel all patrols along the Gazan border on the morning of October 7th, with no justification given.
6:30 בבוקר, 7 באוקטובר, כתב המוצב. אצלנו ה-7 באוקטובר מתחיל לפני 6:30.
Was October 7th, was that Yom Kippur or no? I never know this shit. Fuck me, these stupid fucking
That was
holidays.
October 7th to you.
It was Yom Kippur. I wonder I don't know if they normally get days off or whatever for holidays. I don't know. But like, this would be such an insane, like, if this was true, it would be like insane. But there's no evidence ever given for this. It's just like the weird, like, circumstantial stuff, whether or not, it's Simchat Torah, not Yom Kippur. Okay. Wasn't there a famous war where Israel was attacked on holiday? The 73 war started on Yom Kippur. Yeah, the idea that like they knew this terrorist attack was coming. This is like the 9/11 shit recycled for Israel, though, on their own territory.
כתב המוצב. אצלנו ה-7 באוקטובר מתחיל לפני 6:30. אני הייתי לוחם במחלקת מרגמות בגדוד 13, גולני, ובאותו לילה, אני, יותם סור, הסמל שלי איתמר בן יהודה, זיכרונו לברכה, שלושתנו עושים לילה לבן. הרשינו לעצמנו בשבתות וחגים במיוחד לעשות לילה לבן עד לכוננות עם שחר, ואתם יודעים, יש לנו זמן לישון מחלקת מרגמות עד לכוננות הבאה. אז ב-5:20 בבוקר אנחנו יושבים ליד הקשר כדי לא להעיר מאזין, והסמג"ד שלי, ניר בוינפלק, שגם הוא נפצע קשה, וברוך השם הוא שרד, פתאום עולה בקשר בהודעה מוזרה. כל התחנות, לא יודע למה, לא יודע איך, משהו בסגנון הזה, אין סיור בגדר עד 9 בבוקר.
No more patrols until 9 a.m. for no reason.
Penguin all for Dave, the date with Destiny. He has declined. Breaking news.
Yeah, we got that. Broken a while ago.
Shit.
Wait, this has to be a troll, right? Can someone remind me who did this? I can't remember. This can't be a real tweet. And the formatting is weird too. I would need to see like an archive dot whatever of this to think this is real. Allegedly the Taliban, but let's be honest, probably the Mossad. I would need to see like an archive of this.
אז מבחינת קרקע ואויב אין לנו דברים משמעותיים. מבחינת כוחותינו יצא הנחיה מהחטיבה שעד השעה 9 בבוקר מול הערכת המצב אף כלי לא מגיע לבורמה.
Oh my god, he's a third-party voter? Oh, man.
Wait, was he a Jill Stein voter?
I don't know, apparently he says he votes in California, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, classic.
This is scienceandculture.com. I don't know if there's like a Jew website or not, but... Jesus.
What does a Jew website mean?
Well, everybody names their shit like weird shit, so you have to be in the know to understand. When it's like Qatari or Emirati or Israeli, like the Middle East Eye or whatever. I think that's like the Jew. It's like a pro-Jew website or whatever. And then there'll be other ones, but they never call themselves like outright. But you can usually tell by just looking at the headlines of the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I mean.
Just
Are they?
bias.
Is it like a? Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong, but it's just good to know sometimes. Genuine question. You said that Hamas wants civilian deaths in order to garner public support, but you also said that releasing the hostages would have made them look good in the public eye as well. How do you square these two positions? Well, when I say releasing the hostages would have made them look good in the public eye, what I mean is that if they were conducting themselves in such a way that they wanted the war to stop immediately, releasing the hostages would have been a good decision. But they didn't. I agree with their strategy not to, but that's understanding that their strategy is to invite as much civilian chaos and destruction as possible. But most people don't recognize that that's their mission. They think they're legitimately trying to fight against the whatever Israeli government. I mean, you can argue this is their way of fighting, but it's through terrorism and self-destruction, basically. Martyrdom, I guess you could call it. Oh, wait. Middle East Eye is Qatari-based. What am I thinking of? I might be thinking of a camera or whatever. Is the Jewish one?
Love them.
Middle East Forum, might be? I don't know. Whatever. They're out there somewhere.
אני חוזר שוב, עד 9 בבוקר ואל מול הערכת המצב, אף כלי לא יורד לבורמה. נמצאים בנקודות זינוק אחוריות, מהנחת חטיבה, לא יודע...
Don't you think it's strange that more hostages weren't killed during all of the bombings? I guess they were all that secure in the tunnels? I mean, weren't they literally? Weren't hostages hidden in tunnels? Like, didn't we know that as a fact? And then some were in civilian homes, but...
בדיוק למה, לא שואל יותר מדי. זאת ההנחיה, זה מה שאנחנו עושים.
קצת לפני שהכל...
עד 9 בבוקר ואל מול הערכת המצב, אף כלי לא מגיע לבורמה. כוחותינו יצא הנחיה.
The brigade issued a directive for our forces pending a situation assessment until 9 a.m.
מהחטיבה שעד השעה 9 בבוקר מול הערכת המצב, אף כלי לא מגיע
No vehicles approach Burma.
לבורמה. אני חוזר שוב.
I mean, is this saying that they're trying to let Hamas do the maximum damage and murder civilians? Or is it like there's a chaotic situation and they don't want people strolling into this place and then either getting killed or like, is that, I don't know. I guess we're just reading this as it was crystal knot or whatever, right? They just wanted them to be murdered, I guess? A reverse pogrom or whatever? Okay.
נמצאים בנקודות זינוק אחוריות, מהנחת חטיבה, לא יודע בדיוק למה, לא שואל יותר מדי, זאת ההנחיה, זה מה שאנחנו עושים.
קצת לפני שהכל מתחיל. ואיתמר דופק דין ולא קצת פקודה. באמת, אני כמה אנשי צבא בכירים, מה בעיה פגעו? שיהיו סך הכל לפני בית רובר.
Beyond this, hundreds of the civilians...
מרגיש לי אני לא יודע מה שם, אני רוצה להבין.
A little coincidental, no. Beyond this, hundreds of the civilian casualties were the fault of Israel due to...
fuck, I was going to say this earlier, that he only says hundreds, though, to his credit. I don't know what the actual number is. I feel like dozens or less. But a lot of people will say that the majority of the civilians killed on October 7th were actually just killed by Israeli. They won't even say friendly fire, because I think some were killed when either Hamas was retreating or they'll be in homes with hostages, and then the building will get bombed and then the hostage will die. I think that did happen a couple times. I don't remember the exact number on that. But they'll say that it was the Hannibal doctrine, that Israel will kill every single fleeing Hamas person, even if they have an Israeli with them, because they always try to kill their own people so that they don't get taken hostage or something. Of which there's zero evidence of this happening, or I think, or ever happening, but...
A little coincidental, no. Beyond this, hundreds of the civilian casualties were the fault of Israel due to both friendly fire from incompetent teenage pseudo-soldiers, as well as the Hannibal Directive, which involves killing their own citizens on purpose to prevent their captivity, including a tank firing on a kibbutz. This is how much Israeli officials value the lives of their citizens. When you remove military and police casualties, which are absolutely fair game, as well...
They're not, by the way. You can't surprise attack, like, military people and then claim that that's, like, a fair thing. Like, Pearl Harbor, I mean, I don't know if we had rules of war back then like that, but that would have been considered, like, a terrorist attack. Even if they're soldiers, you can't kill them when you're not at war with somebody and claim it's a fair kill.
Israeli officials value the lives of their citizens. When you remove military and police casualties, which are absolutely fair game, as well as friendly fire and Hannibal Directive deaths, you're left with a number of civilian casualties that are exceeded by Palestinian deaths on any decent day for Israel since October 7th.
Okay.
And countless days before as well. Gaza was the most heavily monitored population on the planet. Israel knew that this was their opportunity to get 9/11 levels of support for murdering Arabs, and they took it, plain and simple. Now, if you thought that Israel was only a menace to its Middle Eastern neighbors, think again. Israel is a threat to the United States and every single American too. Let's go over the countless ways that Israel is specifically ruining the US. Let's start with some recent news. Israel is trying to force the United States to formally merge the American and Israeli military.
I've seen so many libs fucking, even big libs in my media sphere falling for this fucking retarded shit that we're gonna merge our militaries. This is like the EU army talking point, bro. I wonder if Russia even does propaganda anymore, if like Americans take care of it all. No, a lot of these are probably foreign pushed Russian talking points. Jesus Christ.
Militaries.
They're laughing.
Did you hear what I just said? Israeli officials are trying to force America to merge its military with the military of a foreign country, the one committing genocide. Moving from aid to partnership is how Bibi tried to sell it on Fox News, and even the Fox News anchor said,
It certainly brings up some issues of sovereignty, but we'll have to work that out later.
While you're sitting there thinking about how incredibly fucked up this is, let me explain how it's way more fucked up than that. First, you know all those billions of tax dollars that we send to Israel every year, the ones that are used to murder children? Now that money will not require congressional approval. It's just part of the federal budget that the executive branch can arbitrarily provide at any time and in any amount. Next, the government is trying to bring back the military draft. If that were to happen, soldiers would be forced to fight for Israel. That would mean that young Americans could be drafted against their will and forced to go murder.
This is, I think this is insane. No, we were never gonna fucking merge. I don't know. I'm sure Netanyahu maybe would want it, like, ideally, but Destiny, look at the Reddit post someone wrote on this vid. Oh, this is like the EU army memes. Like the European Union is going to make an army and start drafting Europeans to fight in EU wars or whatever.
To fight for Israel. That would mean that young Americans could be drafted against their will and forced to go murder Arabs for Israel, while also potentially just getting murdered by Israel themselves via the Hannibal Directive. And finally, this move would make the Pentagon totally dependent on Israel. Israeli AI systems would be integrated into all the highest classification functions of the US military. So no American intelligence could be withheld from Israel, including that on its own citizens, and any attempt to defy Israel's wishes by any future president could be regarded as a military coup. I need you to really wrap your head around the treachery here. Israel is another country, a totally separate country from this one. If it were...
Yeah, actually, that is pretty annoying. That is actually kind of weird too. At Destiny, isn't it funny that the evidence of half these claims are analogous to flat earthers using weird sources and pictures? Compare this vid against his others. That is true, but I don't know. The politics does something to the brain to like shut it off, I guess. Yeah.
Suggested that the American military merge with that of Switzerland, that already would be fucking insane. Now replace Switzerland's army with a literal terrorist organization that rapes and tortures and murders civilians every single day to expand the borders of a colonial ethno-state that violates international law. This is not a dystopian novel. This is real life, and it is happening. Zionists in Congress are trying to sneak this bill through as part of a defense spending bill. This is happening because public opinion is so firmly anti-Israel that Israel has to find ways to thwart the public and entrench itself in the American power dynamic in ways that will be nearly impossible to undo, no matter how much we protest and boycott. This is a hostile takeover of the American government by a foreign entity. This is Netanyahu trying to place himself formally in charge of aspects of the American government. Every politician supporting this motion is guilty of treason, and nobody's doing anything about it. What's next? Well, it is common knowledge that Gaza is a testing ground of treason, and nobody's doing anything about it.
I like how he didn't actually call out like Republicans and Democrats here. They are highlighted. Oh, I like how he only highlights the ones that voted for, like, Republicans had it here, and then Democrats voted here. It's like 209 to 6. But whatever, don't say it. That's fine. Destiny, you're not even defending against any of his claims. You kind of just pause the video and then say, it's so easy to paint one side and then just move on without addressing anything. None of these claims are like strongly factual claims that can even be, for some of these I have, but other these, like if you're going to find me videos of people saying unhinged things, there are videos of people saying unhinged things. Yeah, of course. There are crazy fucking Israelis and Jewish people. There are also crazy Hamas people. And then there, you can argue that, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. Like, what, you want me to say there's no fucking insane Israelis? Of course there is. But like for stuff like this, like there was, Israel had forewarning on October 7th that a terrorist attack was going to happen. This would be one of the most scandalous things to happen in like the fucking history of the Middle East. And you're asking me debunk his claim based on like 3 soldiers saying there were weird commands in the morning to not, to stand down from the invasion point or whatever. Like, how the fuck am I even supposed to, what am I supposed to debunk here? Like,
it's like the crazies going on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, this isn't, this is not evidence of one of the largest conspiracies in the history of the Middle East is like 3 soldiers coming on and saying that like they told us not to go to where they broke through the fence and to stay away from Burma. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know how I'm supposed to deal with that. They can do these claims of like they're assassinating, you know, hundreds of journalists and whatever the fuck else. But it's like every random person in Palestine throws on like a journalist vest. Like if you want to talk about a specific incident, the problem is that the specific incidents never seem to play out exactly as they say. That flour massacre where they were baiting civilians with tons of flour just to shoot murder them. It looked more like people were trying to climb onto the trucks and turn over the fucking convoy or whatever. Now, is it because they were starving or other horrific things? I mean, maybe, but the people still think this. They still call it the flour massacre. The idea was that the IDF like set a booby-trap fucking truck for starving Palestinians to run to, and they just shot and killed as many as they could right there for literally no fucking reason. And every single fucking incident is like this. People say that what was the name of the beach that was supposed to be Malwi? What was the beach? There was a beach that was supposed to be designated as a safe zone before they moved them all north from Rafah. Al-Mawasi, I think, that were saying that like this was a designated safe zone, and then Israel started bombing it literally for no reason anyway. And then like the footage gets released, and there's literally fucking rockets like in a truck, like right next to this fucking camp where Hamas are fighting out of. And like this happens over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. But there's like zero expectation on behavior for the other side. Why is there not, of all the fucking hundreds of miles of fucking Hamas tunnels and everything, why is there not a single fucking bomb shelter in all of fucking Gaza? Not a single fucking one. Not even one. Why? Not even one. Not a single fucking shelter. How is that even possible? And nobody even asks a question about that. Like, it's fucking retarded. No, I'm saying debunk his claim when he's citing a copious amount of sources and organizations deeming this a genocide. Arguing over whether or not a thing is a genocide is a perspective on the ongoing war that if you want to get into fact deliberation, we can deliberate facts, but I don't have a perspective on whether or not it's a genocide, or I'm not as interested in hotly contesting that topic. And I think that if you are, I think it signals that there's something fucked with your brain, that you're more concerned with the label of genocide than any of the facts that are going on the ground, especially because the people that seem to carry that genocide label the hardest are the ones that are pushing away any realistic solutions, and they just want to scream that the state of Israel should be completely disassembled as a Jewish state, which is a non-starter, obviously. And they know it's a non-starter, obviously. But yeah, a ton of international organizations, I'm sure there's 100 plus, have all said that they feel like what's happening in Israel, and there are organizations in Israel that say that. Like, how can I contest that? That's true. There are people that have said that.
From dangerous Antifa, preparation for the crackdown on Americans. But don't worry, social media relations. If content is Department of Homeland Security to give ICE the exact same tech that Israel uses in order to perform its own human rights violations, while also lending its tech to federal agencies who use data mining software to aggregate information from every single American. Palantir is a major entity pushing us towards an Orwellian police state here in America. More on that in a moment. Let's see, who else? Elon Musk. He has a direct relationship with Bibi. Agreements with Israel regarding Starlink. AI collaborations. Plans for an Israel-exclusive autonomous Tesla rollout. Mark Zuckerberg, along with Musk, both routinely censor pro-Palestine content on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Posts, stories, and entire accounts are regularly deleted, most notably anything depicting Israeli human rights violations.
I guess I would have to read. I feel like I only saw a deluge, a cornucopia of pro-Palestinian propaganda post October 7th, and I think that like swarmed the entire media apparatus of the planet. I don't know where this idea that all of the pro-Palestine stuff was getting censored, but I don't know. Maybe it feels like Israel lost the PR argument on everything. And I think that's evidenced by the fact that people still believe in a lot of stuff that didn't happen, like that hospital J-Dam a week or two after the war started. And then most Democrats today even have a disfavorable view of Israel. So,
if content is not outright deleted, viewability is altered such that it is seen only by followers and does not show up in general feeds. This This is in direct
This is an AI answer too, right?
response to requests from Israel's cyber unit.
In 2025, an investigation published by DropSite found that Meta complied with 94% of takedown requests issued by Israel since October 7. That same year,
it is really crazy too that Professor Dave does like these super high quality science debunking videos of flat earthers and shit, and that comment in YouTube chat was true. He's using as his sourcing the same type of slop shit that conspiracy theorists that he argues against would use. Like, here is a TikTok video that has the spooky music and everything in the background playing while it gives you the opinion that you're supposed to have. It's like, Jesus.
Found that Meta complied with 94% of takedown requests issued by Israel since October 7. That same year, The Intercept reported that YouTube removed 700 videos published by official Palestinian human rights organizations.
And we heard, frankly,
Intercept reported that YouTube removed 700 videos published by official Palestinian human rights organizations.
And we heard, frankly, from high-level officials at Facebook who said, my job is to defend Israel. You know, so like, this isn't some sort of wild conspiracy. This is a thing that, is happening in broad daylight, and there's nothing we can do about it because of these...
At Destiny, you have repeatedly over and over again denounced the claim of genocide because of some arbitrary distinction you have internally. The arbitrary distinction that you're talking about is the law in which genocide is usually considered. And the question is whether or not Israel has like a special intention to destroy like the Palestinian people in whole or some part. But you have to draw a distinction between a war and a genocide. I've never in my entire life heard lefties draw that distinction. Find me a single one that has talked about what acceptable military actions would be between Israel and Gaza, and I'll take you seriously. I've never seen a single one, ever. On October 7th, it was bad to go to war with Gaza, so...
consolidation of these monopolistic companies that manage the entire global internet space.
Why would tech oligarchs who fancy themselves above the law comply with requests from a foreign government? Ponder that. Then, of course, there is Zionist billionaire Larry Ellison, who purchased TikTok in January of this year. This was the platform where young people were most consistently learning about Israel's war crimes, so the Zionist lobby decided to put a stop to that. Ellison has long-standing personal and political ties with Israeli leaders.
It wouldn't surprise me if the TikTok stuff has changed a lot. But it also wouldn't surprise me if it was super ultra pro pushed on the other side because China was the owner of TikTok before that. But like he even admits here that TikTok, which was probably the largest way that young people get news disseminated to them, was rampantly pro-Palestinian, like crazy pro-Palestinian.
And he has personally donated tens of millions of dollars to the IOF, as well as investing in AI data centers in Israel. I don't even need to tell you that once Ellison acquired TikTok, pro-Palestine content was censored almost completely, and prominent Palestinian journalists were abruptly banned, in a last-ditch effort to maintain a sliver of support among the younger demographics. But don't worry, social media manipulation is just the tip of the iceberg. Israeli tech firm Cognite is installing its system FalcoNet in American police SUVs. This is tech that pretends to be a cell phone tower, such that every phone in the vicinity connects automatically, and all its data is compromised. Texas, New York, Florida, and New Mexico are all currently using this tech.
That's not how encryption or anything works whatsoever. Maybe they can track location, maybe? I'm trying to think of how that would work, maybe. If you had 3 of them, would you need to triangulate? But okay. With the exception of there being some 0 days, okay.
Deconnect automatically, and all its data is compromised. Texas, New York, Florida, and New Mexico are all currently using this tech. A foreign company has built invasive surveillance technology that tracks American citizens in American streets. A foreign company has unlimited access not only to private data of American citizens, but also the details of how American law enforcement surveils its population. And the contracts are redacted. Nobody can see what data is being collected, why it's being...
Everything tied to Israel is evil, yes, for all of these people. Every single thing. This is why the BDS thing and everything's so important. They have to... Every AIPAC-related thing, every Jew-related thing, every Zionist-related thing, every Israel-related thing, whether it's a company or a person who serves on a board of one thing and another thing, like all of these things are fair game for these people, yes. Professor Dave is complaining that you yourself personally have not reached out to debate him in the comments. He might have said that, but Pangburn, who is a mutual contact of ours, says he reached out, and Professor Dave said no. I sent him a message on Instagram. He hasn't responded. Like, obviously, I debate anybody on, especially Israel-Palestine. It should also tell you something that this guy is like one of the most avid debaters on the fucking planet, as much as me, if not more, when it comes to the flat earth shit, but he won't talk to me on this subject, so...
collected, how long it's kept, or who has access. Mass warrantless cellular tracking without consent and with zero transparency. This would be unconstitutional even if being done by the US government, but for Israel to be doing it here is fucking insane. What could this lead to? Well, to see what could happen to Americans tomorrow, we only need to look at what Israel is doing to Palestinians today. Check out this newest insanity. Unmanned cranes with machine
like this
guns.
Kind of harken to your point of like, you are scared of the space sometimes because people are saying like the most radical, crazy shit, and like, someone who really does believe that like this is going on, like this video could push them to doing like a violent act.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's in a way, kind of the point, right? You had terrorists that attacked the Royal Air Force Base in the United Kingdom. There were planes of stuff going to fucking Ukraine, but they attacked it. Yeah. By the way, that terrorist attack, Hassan literally cheered on. He watched it on his stream and he cheered on this terrorist attack. Those are a terrorist designated organization. That enough is a reason to never let Hassan into the United Kingdom forever, by the way, in my opinion. And then you have like the burn dipshit guy, the guy who set himself on fire outside of whatever. You had the DC shooter, I think, that shot and killed the two. One, I think, was a Jewish person. One was an Israeli coming out of the embassy, I think. Yeah.
Are being used to murder Gazans. UNICEF reported a 12-year-old girl shot in the chest while in a tent. Another 5-year-old girl killed in her home. These cranes fire randomly and continuously at tents and exposed neighborhoods. Where will we see these next? Major intersections in American cities to protect all the patriots from dangerous Antifa? Jesus. Preparation for the crackdown on American citizens has already begun. Anyone who criticizes Israel is being monitored by the FBI. A new legislation known as the National Security Bill grants the government broad powers to prosecute almost anyone under terrorism charges simply for doing routine journalism or peacefully protesting. Countless supporters of Palestine have been arrested under such pretenses already. Same with protesting ICE. 8 anti-ICE protesters were recently each sentenced to 30 to 100 years in prison. One of them wasn't even at the fucking protest. He just moved a box of pamphlets. And yet they will spend their lives in jail. Why? To establish precedent for labeling the activity of individual protesters as part of large terrorism networks. This is the blueprint for the legal framework being built around criminalizing protests, expanding terrorism rhetoric, and cracking down on any dissent from the twisted goals of those in power. This is how you transform political opposition into a security threat, peaceful protest into terrorism. Want to jail subversive individuals?
I agree that the left may amplify the perceived image of the conflict, but you certainly downplay it so much, it's hard to take you serious. No, you downplay it, you fucking retard. When you guys act like Israel is the only bad actor in the region, you downplay it because you don't give a fuck about Arabs. You only give a fuck about Jews. That's why you don't have anything to say about the 500,000 fucking people that were killed under Assad and Hezbollah's watch. That's why you don't give a fuck about the fact that even Norway, other countries had to pull out of giving aid in fucking Yemen to the starving fucking children because the Houthis were literally killing aid deliverers and taking it all. That's why none of you guys give a fuck about anything that happened in Iraq under Saddam Hussein. None of you give a fuck about why do so many Arabs, especially in Kuwait, all of the Arabs fucking hated the Palestinians because fucking Yasser Arafat supported Saddam Hussein in the first Gulf War. There are so many issues over and over again, but you guys don't give a fuck about literally anything except for Jews. And they're like, I'm the only one that cares because this is the only conflict I've ever even remotely looked at in my life, and I'm calling it a genocide. And the fact that you will call it a genocide, me, you don't fucking care. You don't give a fuck, bro. You don't give a fuck because nothing here is going to be solved the way that you want it to be. There is no solution. You know that, I guess, right? Because it's so stupid. It's so annoying that a bunch of people that know nothing about this come in and then fucking virtue signal over some shit that you don't know anything about or give a fuck about. Right now, whatever solution exists for these people, there has to be immense political pressure, probably, from the United States of America, and it has to be a solution that both sides are willing to accept. But you guys think you can just wipe the fucking Jew rat off the planet, you don't have to give a fuck about it, and then never deal with it again, and whatever, but you're retarded. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? You're retarded.
Individuals with zero...
If you want to follow this line of questioning, show me a single fucking person that's ever dealt with this line of questioning. Okay, you want to erase the Jewish protected majority part of Israel, and you want to make it a one-state solution. Okay, fine. Do you accept the Palestinian right of return to Israel? It's been the one thing that they've never put on paper that they would negotiate anywhere in all of Israeli-Palestinian negotiation history. If you do accept that they're going to have the infinite right of return, which they would of course argue for, none of the Palestinians surrounding them in Lebanon and Syria, in Jordan, none of them have been given citizenship in any other Arab country because they're not allowed to because they have to keep them as refugees. When they go back to Israel, Jewish people will be a minority. At that point, when it's 60-40 Arabs to Jews, do you expect there to be violence? Do you expect there to be genocidal behavior? Or do you think that this is going to be the only Arab state on the planet that's going to handle a massive Jewish population that won't have any issues with them? And then when violence does happen, because it will, if it does happen, do you think that the international community is going to come to help the Jew, who they're going to blame for all the violence anyway, saying that it was their unilateral evilness towards... Because in your mind, if the only thing that's ever happened is Israel committing apartheid and ethnic cleansing and genocide for 75 years, I guess, with absolutely no reason whatsoever, but then don't they kind of deserve another Nakba? What does it mean when all these people say, go back to Brooklyn, go back to Europe? They're a colonial state. What do you do with colonizers? What do they do? What do they do in Algeria? Algeria. What do you do with colonizers? You kick them out. You kick them out and you send them back home. But... whatever. What do you want to say?
Just shout Antifa and your wish will be granted. This is an arbitrary category that can be expanded at will to encompass any political affiliation deemed unsavory to those in power. Doesn't matter what you did or didn't do. You're part of terrorist Antifa because they say so, and you go to jail for life. This is how you make people afraid to organize and resist authoritarian rule. On January 6th, people smashed windows at the Capitol. They assaulted police officers. They literally hunted down lawmakers. They erected actual gallows and called for the public execution of Mike Pence, who was in charge of the count. It was a coup that attempted to interfere with an election and install a dictator. What do they get? Jail time for being domestic terrorists? No. Trump pardoned them all and then tried to award them billions of dollars of taxpayer money for damages. What serves the state is good and heroic, no matter how obviously terroristic in nature. And whatever defies the state is terrorism, even if it's just holding a fucking sign or preventing ICE domestic terrorists from murdering civilians. This is already codified. The National Security Presidential Memorandum 7, or NSPM 7, officially directs federal agencies to aggressively investigate and disrupt groups and individuals that they decide are linked to political violence, which just means a legal way to target nonprofit organizations and absolutely any activist they please. Watch lists of suggested subversives already exist. What are the targets? Anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity, extremism on migration, race, and gender, opposition to traditional American views on family, religion, and morality. All of these labels are—
How is it still about Israel? Because every fascist entity works together. So MAGA and Trump and Israel are all the same thing. And probably the Democrats too, this guy's saying.
in there. I'm not making up a fucking word of this. It's a goddamn fever dream. What is this? This is the complete dismantling of free speech. The Constitution guarantees that you can't be imprisoned for things you say, for views you hold, or for protesting things. This administration is taking a big dump on freedom in the Constitution, and they're doing it for Israel just as—
For Israel.
Hey everyone.
Somebody said to look at the comments in this. You're lit as fuck to appreciate the high quality, attentive work. Also really random, but important, and in full transparency. It really comes down to my negligence in diving into the matter, but can you explain to me why Israel is without a doubt a genocide? Highlighted reply. Oh, was he must have been replying to somebody else? I hear streamers like Hassan and Destiny go over this topic and have differing conclusions. No idea. He did a debate with Finkelstein, and he was coached by Zionists. It was disgusting. Okay. King. I don't do purely political content. I've simply mentioned the genocide where it comes up when debunking pseudoscience. It's given me an opportunity to say enough things about it that I feel satisfied with my contribution. Also, as smart as Destiny is, he has a gigantic blind spot and is a disgusting piece of shit when it comes to Israel-Palestine. Disregard him on that topic only. Hassan is great. Oh my god. King.
As much as the rest of the oligarchy it can barely be distinguished from. Other countries are doing the same thing. A new law in Britain gives sweeping powers to executive leadership to determine terroristic threats and imprison protesters, criminalizing journalism and activism, using broad provisions to put people in jail for a decade or more. Germany is on board as well, approving a bill that makes criticism of Israel a criminal offense punishable by 5 years in prison. Supporting a cause or quoting a source that is arbitrarily deemed a terrorist threat will be a crime, and countless people will begin going to jail for defending basic human rights. What is the justification for such draconian measures? Always, doesn't it? Yes, Israel can and would commit a terrorist attack on American soils. Maybe U.S. will not accept foreign rule. Just ask Israeli defense researcher Benny Sapti. He recently tweeted this. Maybe USA needs another Pearl Harbor or 9/11 to remember who is the enemy and who is the friend. Sounds like a threat, doesn't it? Yes, Israel can and would commit a terrorist attack on American soil, blame it on Arabs, and gaslight the world into supporting a renewed wave of violence on whomever they please, with full American economic and military support. Sounds too far-fetched? Think again. Israel has a history of this behavior. In 1967,
the USS Liberty, the favorite, the go-to.
Israeli aircraft and torpedo boats attacked the USS Liberty in nearby waters and killed 34 Americans. They thought it was an Egyptian warship, of course, since those usually fly American flags. This was an attempt at precisely this type of false flag operation.
Jews famously known for their 120 vision, where they can see with their eyes into the fucking distance and analyze the flags of ships.
Sink an American ship, blame it on Egypt, and lure America into war on their behalf. Benny knew he fucked up by saying the quiet part out loud, so he edited the tweet to seem less obvious, but it was too late. The internet never forgets. Anyone who thinks that Israel would only massacre Arabs and never white people clearly isn't paying attention. Look at what they did very recently to the European aid flotillas. Hundreds of European activists were detained, beaten, tortured, and raped. Israel did it proudly and brazenly with full knowledge that there would be no consequences for them. And if serious consequences ever did befall Israel, they can always resort to the Samson option.
Rapes?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I
but
know
I haven't
Ben
dug
Gvir
into
was
that.
doing crazy shit, but
well, he's not. I don't know if he was out on the boats, but there might have been. I thought there was one woman that accused soldiers of it was either rape or sexual violence. I would have to go and check, but I don't think I'm not aware of anything super credible that came out about that.
This is Israel's military strategy of massive nuclear retaliation as a last resort if the country is facing imminent destruction and existential collapse. Basically, if Israeli officials think everything has gone irreparably south for them and they are about to be destroyed by literally anyone, they will just nuke everybody. Israel refuses to confirm or deny having nukes, and they refuse to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which means they aren't obligated to be inspected for nukes, which means they absolutely have nukes. Meanwhile, over here in America, every effort is being enacted to ensure that nothing can slow Israel down in its quest to destroy everything. Anything deemed a threat to unchecked belligerence and imperialism must be eliminated. The International Criminal Court regularly calls out the war crimes of both Israel and the United States. So Trump and Bibi, along with thirsty Marco Rubio, are trying to dismantle the ICC entirely. The ICC makes light of American war crimes in Afghanistan, the Caribbean, Venezuela, and of course literally everything Israel does, so they are deemed a radical threat to democracy. Here's Marco whining about American sovereignty just because someone dares push back on Western barbarism and crimes against humanity. Basic accountability is tyranny to the gaslighters who don't want to stop bombing and murdering and seizing land. Marco and Bibi do look cute together though, don't they? And of course, any country reliant on US assistance that does not go along with the campaign to destroy the ICC will feel the blowback. This is just a continuation of the trend of this administration dismantling along with the campaign.
I would pay a lot of money. No, I wouldn't. But I would be interested to see what are the prompts that he's asking the AI for all of these. Because these are all AI answers, right? There's nothing wrong with AI answers and using AI to do research, but I am very curious how he prompts this.
To destroy the ICC will feel the blowback. This is just a continuation of the trend of this administration dismantling absolutely any institution which serves the global citizenry at the behest of a twisted oligarchy. Want to pollute more? Destroy the EPA. Want to poison more? Destroy the FDA. Want to do more war crimes? Destroy the ICC. It's a trend, and it's one I've been highlighting in my content for a while now. None of this is normal. This is not business as usual. This current administration is the beginning of the fascist takeover. It is happening now. They are trying to eradicate democracy. Whoever doesn't see that is blind. Anyone crying about TDS can fuck themselves. This is the moment where we either fight all of this while we still have an outside chance, or we submit to tyranny and accept fascist authoritarian rule. There is not an ounce of hyperbole in anything I've said. The infrastructure for the authoritarian police state is being built and implemented right now. Today, people can sense the changes being implemented by Project 2025 personnel. Public opinion regarding Israel has shifted irreparably even among conservatives. The oligarch clamp surveillance require ruin victims of Israeli terrorists. Their Zionism is the ideology behind it, an ideology of Jewish supremacy, ethnic cleansing, genocide, deception, and self-victimization. Okay, are we all up to speed on how Israel is an existential threat to all of humanity and the most vile source of pure evil since the Nazis, and how they are objectively committing genocide like 100% without a doubt, and anyone who says otherwise is either paid by Israel or a brainwashed idiot? Awesome. Now let's get back to Destiny and talk about his rose-colored relationship with this belligerent imperialistic ethno-state.
Honestly, I'm pro-genocide. Like, it sounds really shitty, but like, I think that Israel should just drop its fucking borders about where it is now, and basically Palestinians can go live in another place. That's really shitty, but like, that's about where I'm at.
You just think the Palestinians should just pack up and Native American the fuck out of there?
First of all, I like that this fucking, I like that this quote was before October 7th, so I had no clue even that much about Israel, and I had no, obviously there wasn't the terror segment on all the attention on these, on anything related to Israel Palestine, number one. But number two, this is essentially their position just reversed, where they're like, well, both sides are probably going to genocide each other anyway, so it should just be like an Arab state, and maybe they have to kill all the Jews out for it to succeed. Like, it is the opposite position. But it's also very obvious here that my position is like, I don't know, man, doesn't sound like there's a solution. It seems like pretty shitty. I don't know. I guess if one side is going to kill each other, I mean, I'd probably side with the Israelis over the Arabs. They have like 60 states anyway. Do they really need a 61st? I mean, obviously we don't want either side to genocide them, but the problem is that it seems like there is a hugely general hostility to Jewish people across really the entire world, definitely the Middle East.
Right out of his own mouth. He is pro.
Yeah, maybe don't say things like that, to be fair. No, I will say things like that, and I'll stand by it, because the people on your side literally watch terrorist fucking videos and they cheer them on. So suck a fucking dick. It is such the tone policing by you loser fucks that also don't care about this conflict and don't know anything about it. Like, maybe you shouldn't actually say you're pro-genocide. Well, sit here with your fucking kafayas backwards and you're in the most retarded fucking statements you could ever make about like, oh, Hezbollah is just like the government of Lebanon and blah, blah, blah. Suck a fucking dick. Don't sit here and fucking virtue signal now, okay, when you're cheering for dead Palestinian babies because you can jerk off to them and send them to your fucking friends online. Get the fuck out of here, fucking retards.
Genocide. He supports the genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. He thinks they should either be killed or removed, and that land should be Israel, because the whole world is...
What? That's really the entire world, definitely the Middle East.
Right out of his own mouth. He is pro-genocide. He supports...
Also, there's no world where you hear that statement and you're like, wow, it sounds like he really wants the genocide. It sounds like what I'm saying is the situation seems irredeemably fucked. There's no solution except for one side to kill or kick the other one out.
Supports the genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. He thinks they should either be killed or removed, and that land should be Israel, because the whole world is just a bunch of dirty anti-Semites, so poor Israel gets to do genocide. Ethnic cleansing is super awesome, according to Destiny.
True. Destiny, you said after this joke that in reality there is no real good solution. I think that it sounds like I'm already saying that. I don't. Maybe I say that right after. But even so, obviously I'm saying there's not a good solution. It sucks. Both sides are fighting. It doesn't seem like there's an end in sight.
Did you think I was exaggerating about this piece of shit? I'll take your apology now. And don't worry, we're just getting started. This is a fucking rabbit hole.
Oh
Again,
boy.
this was a group of civilians, including children, who were waving white flags. They had done everything that Israel had told them to do. They were in an Israeli-declared safe area, and they were in the process of evacuating to a different safe area.
None of that is true. This is a no-go zone that they were alerted to already. That's why they already have the phones out and they're filming, and that's why they're walking slowly, side by side, with white flags, and it's why they have medical staff behind there, because they know they're gonna go get shot. Why are we watching a bad empanada video? I remember going over this. It's so fucking retarded. They knew they were gonna get shot at. There are fucking Israeli soldiers, I think, in like fucking tanks, like right around the corner here. They know it.
So what did Destiny think about this? Well,
the interview complete, our cameraman walked away.
So like, why did he walk away? Because he knew they were walking to go get shot to get it on film.
He is interviewing the guy who's about to go do some shit to get himself killed, basically. That's what's going to happen. We know from this point that's what's going to happen. So he walks away, gets back a little bit, and then he sets up behind this thing, right? Is this concealment, I guess? Not cover concealment, right? Because I think the tank's over here. So now he can capture the footage right here. He sees the guys walking, knowing that they're about to get shot, because that's what's going to happen. And then eventually they get shot and everything is, this is it. It's like act 1, 2, and 3. It's like all here. I'm sorry. The tracking live movement shot of the lady running up to her dead husband? Like
bro! Are we serious? Oh, wait. Okay. After your husband gets shot, he might be dead, but after he gets shot, we're going to have the guy right behind you, okay, to catch you running up to... Come on. Come the fuck on. Grow the fuck up.
What is this? But they probably were probably going to get shot at, or maybe, so you're saying the woman was acting? I don't think the woman was acting. She probably was sincerely sad. Her husband got fucking
I'm sure
killed.
she was.
I think they were farming TikTok clips. I mean, remember, these people, actually, yeah, like have suicide bombers. So it's not that big of a stretch to imagine that they would be willing to get shot. Who is this guy? Do we even know if he's actually fucking dead? Like, we don't actually see the wound. It seems like they don't have any problem showing anything else. Like, why just the white flag so that it can look all bloody? Like, show us the actual gunshot. You have no problem showing other violence, right? What Hollywood means is that you're
That's not even an unhinged statement. When the camps got bombed, or outside the camp in the beach thing or whatever, I remember they were holding up the fucking headless Palestinian baby and shaking it in front of the camera. Holy shit.
During intentional video footage to sell a certain narrative about what's going on, basically. And you kind of ignore the fact that, like, okay, well, they're in a battle zone in an area they were told to evacuate from, and they're going back to try to release somebody that was captured. Like, that's like Hollywood, I think. You're essentially provoking the enemy to take what is largely a justified action and then trying to say that it's like indiscriminate civilian killing.
This is a literal active war zone, and they're saying, don't come here, don't go here. It's like, okay, we're going to go there and see what happens. What do you think is going to happen?
That's right. When people are executed by Israel, especially in what is deemed a safe zone, they deserve it because they were farmed.
They're not walking to us. Okay.
For TikTok clips. They have to provoke Israel into violence because Israel would never be violent on their own. The rhetoric here is beyond vile. This is like telling a rape victim she was asking for it because of her short skirt, but 1,000 times worse. Anyone...
It's more like if you had a building and the building on the outside said, if you walk in here with a short skirt, we're going to fuck you. So probably don't come in here. And somebody has a short skirt on, and they're like, hold on, get your camera out. This is about to be crazy. Like,
uses the term Pallywood is a fucking monster. Once again, if you actually truly want to see what happens in Gaza on a daily basis, you can head over to archivegenocide.com and look for yourself. Bring a barf bag. People are ruthlessly slaughtered every single day, and the thousands of videos on that site are only a tiny fraction of the carnage that has been inflicted on Palestinians over the past 2.5 years. Pretending that they're faking it is identical to Holocaust denial, except way worse since this is happening today. Now here he is doing a fan meetup in Israel, giving advice to young
Hey, at least he said fan meetup instead of IDF coaching session. Nice.
IOF soldiers on how to hide their war crimes.
Well, IOF soldier. I mean, I guess everybody in Israel is a soldier eventually, huh?
I've got this little worry that in the media and in the global, opinion, it's not such a good thing to be an IDF soldier.
It's not. It's absolutely. Yeah, the opinion is really bad. Yeah. Here's the one piece of advice I'll give you. Okay, if you're joining the IDF, okay, leave your fucking cell phone at home and stop taking stupid fucking videos, okay? Because everybody's fucking you with them, okay? And if you see a soldier, okay, go into a fucking drawer and listen. If you want to fucking wear a dress and you think it's funny, just don't fucking take a fucking video picture of it, okay? Jesus.
Yeah.
Obviously, you shouldn't be wearing people's clothes at all. But the idea that this gets conflated with he's coaching them that when they're going to commit genocide, don't record them genociding people. Like, if you legitimately think that this is my opinion, you're lost. I'm sorry, you're lost. Like, I have 15 years of streaming. I've got 10 years of political commentary, like 8.5 years of which I've been like a decently far left, like center left, progressive, libcuck, social values and everything else. But on this, I have been anti-Arab, anti-Palestinian, pro fucking Islamophobia the whole fucking time. I just managed to hide it except for this one comment. Like, give me a fucking break.
Destiny agrees it's cool to murder Palestinians. And when you're done, it's super funny to go through their belongings.
I didn't even mention, what are we talking about murdering Palestinians here? Also, at the time, all of the big fucking stories were, it was the stupid IDF soldiers going through fucking dressers and wearing clothes and shit it was retarded. There are pictures of this. They were on some big fucking news articles.
Okay, Jesus.
Yeah, Destiny agrees it's cool to murder Palestinians, and when you're done, it's super funny to go through their belongings and even try on their clothes like a little trophy. If you didn't know that IOF soldiers do this all the time, now you know. Anyway, Destiny is totally on board for the post-slaughtering fashion show, but you guys, stop taking pictures and posting them to social media. You don't want the world to know what complete fucking monsters you are making a joke out of genocide. Keep it to yourself, okay? By the way, this little tidbit was part of a 2-week spree in June 2024, where Destiny went all around Israel interviewing dozens of Israeli officials and media personalities in what was very clearly an Israel-funded propaganda trip.
Oh, so we're just lying now. We're just lying now. Because we interviewed Palestinians as well, and we interviewed Palestinian Authority leaders, and we went to the West Bank and we interviewed people too. And we interviewed Palestinians and Arabs that were against the occupation inside of Israel. We interviewed a lady from Bet Salem. We interviewed Ahmed Tibi on the Knesset. But yes, all Israeli funded, no evidence, by the way.
Here he is with Eylon Levy, the shit stain who served as Israeli government spokesman during the first stretch of the genocide. So basically, he's the...
What was that interview about, though?
Here he is with Eylon Levy.
I realized very quickly. Yeah, this was him trying to bring me on here to just say a bunch of positive things about fucking Israel. This was a contentious conversation.
Shitstain who served as Israeli government spokesman during the first stretch of the genocide. So basically, he's the guy who sold the world on this genocide more than anyone else. He's the one who amplified narratives about beheaded babies and a baby in the oven on October 7th that definitely didn't exist. Hamas using Palestinians as human shields when that's actually what Israel does. The ultra-sophisticated Hamas bases under the hospitals that were never there. Shouting about how anyone exposing Israeli propaganda is part of an anti-Semitic propaganda campaign. Destiny is right at home here, naturally. Here he is with...
Is that still up? We're not watching this whole thing.
Like, there will be these big events.
Fuck, I don't even know what... I don't remember any of the specific things we even spoke about. He does this thing that every single fucking person does, because you just have to, I guess, because he's on obviously the mega pro-Israeli side. And anytime I'm talking about, like, yeah, the Palestinian people are kind of fucked up when they do this shit. He's like, absolutely, I agree with you. And I'm like, yeah, Israel's really fucked up when they do this shit. And he's like, whoa, that's where you lose me.
Specifically in this conflict, but you know what, also the Israeli-Palestinian conflict more broadly.
I feel like on a macro level, it feels like because both sides demonize each other so much, both sides will spend so much time trying to exonerate their own side to kind of sometimes a ridiculous amount. I mean, to go, we can get as a razor focus or as macro as you want, but like on a very razor focus level, things relating to God, there's so many different examples. I guess the most recent thing I was kind of like reading into is like, for instance, like the Great March of Return. The peaceful Great March of Return was started off as like a peaceful idea for people to go to the wall.
Of border rights.
Yeah, and like wave flags and like have parades and festivals, and then maybe there were a couple bad actors. That's the story that the pro-Palestinian side gives. And then on the pro...
well, it's the story they give in English.
It's the story they give in English, yeah, sure, yeah. And then on the... obviously, when you actually dig into the events, and not even dig, you just look at the videos, post everything, and say, okay, well, this event was a lot more... I mean, even the idea, the concept of the Great March of Return, when you ask people what that means, a lot of people don't even know what that means. And the idea was, marching through the border wall and going back to, where your original villages were. And the hope was that other Palestinians from other refugee camps would join. And to call that event peaceful is a stretch, I think, even in the intention, let alone the fact that Hamas was active in the early days.
Well, you had Hamas's leaders standing among the crowds telling them you need to rip their hearts out of their chests, and they published maps pointing them how to get to the border communities. I mean, Israel was warning at the time.
Sure, yeah.
But the reason that it had to use gunfire against people storming the border, right, was because of a potential massacre that could be the sort of thing we found out on October 7th.
For sure. Yeah, but then, I mean, also, I'm sympathetic towards the Israeli side because the narrative on the Palestinian side is so much more popular online. But then I also noticed it true for like the Israeli side as well, that there seems to be issues with, and it's annoying because I go to bat sometimes probably for more the pro-Zionist side than the anti-Zionist side just because we argue with online. But, every time a situation comes up,
it's like, okay. You can be a contrarian nowadays. Being a contrarian means taking the Israeli
side. I guess technically, yeah. But it'll be like, okay, well, this event just happened, a bunch of people died, we'll do an internal investigation. And then sometimes I feel like I never hear the results of that. Or if you look back and you see like, oh, okay, well, XYZ happened, or some amount of Palestinians were killed. And I think, man, I would love counterexamples, but when I dig back, I feel like no IDF soldier, no Israeli person has ever been held in prison for like more than, I think, 36 months for like...
I think it's like 8 months actually, when I dug even more to that.
An actual bad event where they were convicted of, manslaughter or murder or killing of, I don't know if they're called murder or whatever, but killing of people in the West Bank or Palestinians. So yeah, I feel like both sides have issues with being honest about what they're doing, but the Hamas side, the Palestinian side is definitely way more successful in marketing their untruths in the international media, I think.
So specifically on that micro level, there have been so many examples. The fake Israeli airstrike on the Al-Ahli hospital when it was a piece of shrapnel.
You can watch this whole interview. It's online. Like, it's generally, every time I try to cite examples, especially when I was in Israel, I always try to give an example on each side because everybody wants to use you to launder their own opinion or whatever. But the whole thing is, it's still online.
Opposing Israeli propaganda is part of an anti-Semitic propaganda campaign. Destiny is right at home here, naturally. Here he is with Yishai Fleischer, an Israeli settler in the West Bank where Palestinians are brutally terrorized every single day as illegal settlements continue to...
I think every video posted with him was quite contentious. This guy is like the ultra-Zionist spokesperson. This guy is like, I am here to talk about how Jews literally need to have the entire West Bank. Actually, he wouldn't say West Bank. He would say the historic lands of Judea and Samaria all belong to the Jews.
with Yishai Fleischer, an Israeli settler in the West Bank where Palestinians are brutally terrorized every single day as illegal settlements continue to expand against international law, and a Kahanist who served as a political advisor to Ben-Gvir. Here he is with Benny Morris, an Israeli historian who tried to whitewash the 1948 Nakba.
Jesus. Most of the great information that even other scholars have about the Nakba has come from Benny Morris's books. But, okay.
Which is the true beginning of this campaign of ethnic cleansing and dispossession of Palestinians. He also did a 2-on-2 debate with Benny against Norman Finkelstein and Muin Rabbani on Lex Fridman, where he spewed a bunch of Zionist bullshit and got humiliated by Finkelstein, which is well worth a watch.
Everybody says this, knowing that nobody will watch the debate. And I've asked this, like, over and over and over again. What is an example of something I was incorrect about in this debate? Never a single example. They just say it's epic that Finkeldick was screaming at me the entire fucking time. Here's the Yishai interview. Oh, the one that we did on the fucking Watchtower?
What the fudge are you saying? What the fudge are you saying? We have a state of war with these people. They literally teach jihadism every single day, and you're telling me it's peace. Literally, you turn on PATV, they're telling you to kill Israel, to kill Jewish people.
You're officially in the so-called West Bank. You're officially in the so-called settlements. We just call them towns. This is actually a very beautiful town.
I want to try to watch this. 5 minutes?
And so I'm an elected official here, and in the town of Hebron, where we're going today, I'm the spokesman. So I work in 2 different hats, all in the area that was called for the last over 3,000 years, the area of Judea, in the tribe of Judah, and even we have documents from 2,500 years ago in the Persian period. They called it Yehud Medinta, which means the Jewish state is here.
Like, we are actually an ethnic minority in this region, and we just have this small, tiny piece of land within the broader Middle East. Broader Middle East has 450 million Arabs, and we are a protectorate, a small Jewish enclave, a tribal land, if you will, that tries to hold on to this piece of land and defend it for our peoplehood. So I don't think of it. You're not going to hear me talk a lot about Israeli democracy and equality for everybody. I don't think that way. My thinking process is that we're an ethnic minority in this region. We have a piece of tribal land, and we have to defend it just like any tribal area, just like the Kurds in northern Iraq, Kurdistan, or just like, I don't know, the Indians on an American reservation, or any ethnic group of people that wants to keep their place safe from incursion. So that is the way we understand it. So I see this whole thing as like a small little New Jersey-sized plot. Now, within this region, there are 22 Arab countries, and there's more Muslim countries, including Turkey and Iran, giant countries. So there's this small Jewish country. That's what it's there to do. We have minorities living amongst us, and they can live here in peace as long as they...
I don't care, bro. Call me biased. I don't know if I'm stupid, but even though I agree with you on almost everything here, the whole Israel trip felt like a weird whitewashing of Israel. Even though you argued with the crazy people there, it had a very weird vibe to it. That's because Israel is nowhere near as fucked up and crazy and bad as you've been told that it is constantly over here. They definitely do bad things, and they're not beyond reproach. But, like, given the opportunity to go back in time when I said, well, both sides are going to genocide each other, but, I guess I'd probably prefer the Israeli side to the Palestinian side, 100-0, obviously. Like, the Israeli side of this conflict is a trillion times more compatible with Western values, Western democracy, cultural values, whatever the fuck else you want to say, than the Hamas side of it. And you're just, if you have to even stop and think about that for a microsecond, you've lost the plot so much that you're just brain fucked on the entire Middle East. But most people don't give a fuck about the Middle East and don't know about the Middle East and don't care about the Middle East, so...
They respect our laws of this tribal area. That's how I see it. And so I'm showing you right now. Now I'm showing you this area that's called the West Bank, but we think of it as the heartland of the Jewish story. The Jewish story. This is like the very heart of the country, physically, security-wise, and also historically and spiritually. Hardcore atheist. Yeah. We'll work on that.
Okay.
It's okay. We'll work on that. It's okay. Like not an atheist, like a hardcore atheist.
Hardcore atheist.
Like not just an atheist. Like I like.
I'm not religious. I hate religion.
Right.
Yeah.
You told me that you were an atheist. What was the word you used to modify that?
Super atheist.
No, you had another word.
Mega atheist. Hardcore atheist.
Okay, whatever. One of those.
Yeah.
And I said to you, like, well, how can you really be an atheist and totally understand what's going on around here, since really religion plays a part? And you had a good answer to that. So let's start with that. I don't know if this building moves you in any way. The Tomb of Abraham.
I mean, from a historical perspective, I think it's a pretty cool building. Obviously, this whole country has cool landmarks historically. There are things that I might not have a personal, spiritual or emotional connection to, but I can appreciate other people's emotional or spiritual connections to things. I'm sure we've all had, wives or girlfriends or friends that like a particular movie or like a particular thing, and you can appreciate their appreciation of it, or you can appreciate a particular thing without necessarily being into it.
This floor is original Herodian floor. This is a 2,000-year-old floor that's been walked on every day in honor of the forefathers and mothers. It has not been broken. This is the original floor of the building. That's pretty amazing. Some of these stones are many tons. Okay, and behind us is the.
Why am I watching the first 5 minutes of this? I think this is the tomb of the patriarchs and matriarchs.
Marker for the tomb of Abraham. Why I say marker? Because the tombs of the forefathers and mothers are below the building. Okay. They're below the building. This building was established as a mausoleum, a place to honor the forefathers and mothers. When Herod established it, he put these markers to mark Abraham. But you should ask me.
I would argue that Destiny got more pro-Pally after the trip. I don't know. The West Bank shit was pretty fucked, obviously. I mean...
Question. You told me that it was forefathers and mothers, right? Here's the marker for the tomb of Sarah, and the other side is the marker for the tomb of Abraham. They're buried and represented as side by side, mothers and fathers. Mothers and fathers. This is very important because this is about peoplehood. Okay?
Is there like a special ceremony or something for going in and cleaning, or does nobody?
Well, that's a whole complex thing because the cleaning is controlled actually by the Muslim Waqf, and they don't do such a great job of cleaning it, but they control the inner rooms, and we control these rooms, and then 10 days a year, they get full control of the site, 10 days a year, we get full control of the site, and so there's a kind of deal that's been worked out. Over here is the doors that lead to the tomb of Isaac and Rebecca, which are on the other side, on the Muslim side.
Okay. I don't know why ads wanted me to watch the 5-minute tour of the tomb here, but okay. Thank you, ads.
Those are the markers.
The markers.
Thank
All
you,
the tombs
ads.
are underneath the building. Okay. But this room is very meaningful to people because it's Abraham and Sarah. So when you bring here Christians in the world, Abraham, the story of Abraham. No, this is a shrine.
Yeah, walked through the shrine, walked through this building, walked up and down these steps.
Okay.
Finkelstein and Muin Rabbani on Lex Fridman, where he spewed a bunch of Zionist bullshit and got humiliated by Finkelstein, which is well worth a watch. Then here he is with Yair Golan, former Israeli politician, Naz Daly, a content creator who whitewashes the occupation, Yossi Balin, former Minister of Religious Services.
Wait, sorry, hold on.
Fridman, where he spewed a bunch of Zionist bullshit and got humiliated by Finkelstein, which is well worth a watch. Then here he is with Yair Golan, former Israeli politician, Naz Daly.
Yair Golan, I think, was representing this is a left-leaning leader of a center-left or left party or whatever. Nas Daily makes content. I don't know if it's all pro-Israeli or not. It might be. It wouldn't surprise me because the Elon guy wanted to come to this party. This is where we went to. And then we watched he was doing videos recently. It wouldn't surprise me if a lot of his stuff was pro-Israeli now.
Content creator who whitewashes the occupation, Yossi Balin, former Minister of Religious Services.
Yossi Balin was it's been so long since I've done Israel-Palestine. He tried to put together a super comprehensive peace plan after the Oslo Accords failed. Was he one of the architects of Oslo 1 for Yossi Balin? It's been too long, fuck. I think he was part of Oslo 1, I think. Yes, yeah. Led to the adoption of 93 Oslo Accords. I don't know why you would just describe him as a prior religious minister. That's really weird. Well, it's not weird. It's because this guy has no idea who this guy is at all, and he just probably looked up a random thing about him, but that's why we interviewed him.
Golan, former Israeli politician. Naz Daly, a content creator who whitewashes the occupation. Yossi Balin, former Minister of Religious Services of Israel. Ofer Sheila, journalist and politician.
Ofer Sheila. I think that guy was Shin Bet. Is the internal security might have been?
And Shel Pfeffer, journalist and genocide denier.
That's a British journalist guy.
Haddad, genocide propagandist.
Okay, that's who that guy.
Real. Ofer Sheila, journalist and politician. And Shel Pfeffer, journalist and genocide denier.
This guy, though, is a unashamed. You can always find a nicer name for your token figures. This guy, now, of all the people that he's shown, this guy right here is like an Arab who is unashamedly, massively pro-Israeli, pro-Zionist. He is like the guy that I think Israel would bring out to like do
like Uncle Tom type.
Well, that's mean, but he's like, this is our guy to show how Arabs really want Israel to occupy everything. 100%, 1,000,000%, yeah.
Haddad, genocide propagandist. That's not even the full lineup. He has long playlists with way more content, which beyond interviews includes palling around with IOF terrorists and even reenacting the stealing of a Palestinian's home. With way more content, which beyond interviews includes palling around with.
So this palling around here was us getting kicked out of the West Bank by a crazy settler dude, and then the IDF showed up to check our IDs, and then we got kicked out. I don't know how we're palling around here, but okay.
IOF terrorists, and even reenacting the stealing of a Palestinian's home.
We weren't reenacting the stealing of a Palestinian's home. I think this man's son or father lived in a house, and then I believe he's an Arab Palestinian, and then we went through the weird... I took a ton of pictures of this. Fuck, it's been a long time since what was the story for this? There was like I think it was a Palestinian guy who lived in a house, and like the Israeli people, or maybe it might have been the Israeli owner of the home or whatever, would come and like dump a ton of trash in his fucking front yard. It was a pretty fucked up story. But this is like a pro-Palestinian story. So I don't know where he's getting like reenact taking over the house or something. Like all this trash and shit I think supposedly was dumped by Israeli neighbors until this guy would leave his home. But okay.
We won't dive into all that content today, but that's his little Hasbara field trip. Destiny was recruited by Israel to publish content to brainwash American liberals into...
This is just straight libel slander, no? I mean, I would say, yeah, 100%.
Denying genocide. Want more? Here he is mocking the death of Palestinian poet Rifat al-Arir, who was targeted and murdered in an Israeli airstrike. Want more? Here he is mocking the death...
This guy was mega sus. I would have to go back and read why. I don't remember. This is a long time ago. But this guy was... every single Palestinian is like a poet or journalist or medical professional. You notice this. It's like 13-year-old killed. He was actually a member of the press, and he was a doctor in training, and he was a journalist and a poet and a singer-songwriter. And it's like, okay.
Death of Palestinian poet Rifat al-Arir, who was targeted and murdered in an Israeli airstrike. He's a garbage human who deserved to be murdered for speaking out against genocide. And what a horrible father he is for having children absolutely...
I don't know if I'd say he deserved to be murdered, but I'm pretty sure this was a guy who remained in the northern part of Gaza after like evac orders were given, and he stayed there with his whole fucking family, and then they end up getting bombed and killed. But okay.
Anywhere, since Israel bombs literally everywhere all the time, including and especially the places where they specifically tell Palestinians to go.
That's not true, but okay.
People have been telling us that the Palestinians are starving to death for decades. People have been telling us since October 7th that no aid is going into the country, that has been kept on a caloric deficit, and now here we are months and months and months in, where all the people dying for
And now we're years and years and years in.
starvation. Something is not adding up here. The math doesn't work. Something is not right about the story that's being told.
Yes, Destiny is denying the objective fact that hundreds of Palestinians have died of malnutrition and starvation.
That's hundreds? I've never seen that number. You have to go deep into the Al Jazeera archives to find that number. Hundreds? Even hundreds. I haven't. But remember, the United Nations, they released a report saying that more Palestinians were at, it's like IPC level 5 of malnourishment and famine or whatever, that there were more Palestinians classified under starvation than all the other people starving in the world combined. I'm not misspeaking. All the other people in the world combined, there were not as many starving people as there were Palestinians. And somehow, day after day, week after week, month after month, somehow they all seem to have clothes on. None of them seem like emaciated. Like sometimes you'll get videos of kids that have like cystic fibrosis or some horrible ailment or whatever. But
he asks where the dead people are and can't even bother to look. Sam Harris does this too, by the way. Another nation during this genocide. He asks where the dead people are.
Sam Harris. I don't know how hard it would be to find. I am curious, like, for these pictures, if they even, there's so much dumb shit about this, but I don't know. We were told for years that there were starving people, and for some reason, like, it just never, all the deaths or whatever didn't happen. Like, meanwhile, in other countries that have like these massive famines, there are tons of people that die. I want to say in Yemen it was like 60,000 children died of starvation.
Even bother to look. Sam Harris does this too, by the way. Another genocide-supporting piece of shit and incredible disappointment of a human being. Who knows? He may deserve a video at some point as well.
So you don't even deserve to be in. What do you want him to admit? What do you want him to admit? Why is there a blockade in Gaza?
Yeah, you tell me.
Why is there a blockade in Gaza?
When you look at the fact that Israel's preventing cookies from going into Gaza, you know that it's not motivated by military.
Why would cookies be prevented from going in? What were Castle rockets fueled with?
Yeah, with cookies. Yeah.
I mean, there were videos of people that would boil products to extract sugar to use it to launch some of the earlier crude rockets. The actual explanation for this apparently was that they had a whitelist for things that could go in, and then people would try to ship something in, and then they wouldn't be allowed. So they would say, well, this thing has been specifically forbidden, when that's not really the case. They just had apparently a whitelist of stuff that was allowed to go in. But
with sugar and fertilizer. Yes, that's how they made it.
We're going to deny Palestinians in Gaza sugar because it might be used.
First of all, we're not allowed back in because he's more sophisticated, right?
That's right. There has to be a blockade to prevent food from getting to starving Gazans because they will use the sugar.
Where starving? It's just like, it's the weirdest starvation of all time, where the population has been continuing to grow. You're not having people dying of malnourishment. You have like an obesity rate that's higher than like every other Arab country on the planet. You have like, not to say that it's good, not to say that it's acceptable, but like when you lie about every single fucking thing that you talk about for this region, it just makes, I don't know how to even fucking engage.
To make rockets. That just came out of his dumb fuck face. Starving 2 million people to death is cool.
These are the...
Because we can't have tiny dinky little rockets damaging a bus stop while Israel continues to carpet bomb Gaza on a regular basis. Fuck me, what an asshole.
Genocide is a special crime that has two elements. One of the elements requires some kind of like, destruction of a people or taking away of their children or sterilization, something like that, an obvious thing. But the second part is a highly specialized intent to destroy a group of people in whole or in part. And that highly specialized intent is what makes genocide so unique. And there are so many things related to genocide that don't apply to modern military conflict that you should take note of, because when you start to apply genocide in the way it's being applied to Israel, it basically would be applied to every single conflict.
No, it wouldn't, you delusional asshat. Israel's genocide is not a military conflict. Palestinians don't have a military. They're a prisoner population being indiscriminately slaughtered.
What is Hamas? So who did October 7th?
While their land is demolished and stolen. That's why it's a fucking genocide. There is no conflict happening in the world today that better fits the definition of genocide that he just listed, and yet it doesn't apply to Israel because reasons. In this clip, he also states that the invasion of Rafah needs to happen. Ethnic cleansing is not a real thing. He tries to deny the systematic sexual abuse of Palestinian prisoners. It's a fucking clown show.
You have statements going...
You understand? Why does he have so much feel on this video and doesn't want to engage? Because I think generally he has like he's got like a comprehensive understanding of the science topics that he talks about. So for debates related to like flat Earth or whatever else, like he can navigate these arguments in a sophisticated manner because he knows a lot about the topics. From everything I've seen him debate on those topics, he seems to know a lot about those topics. For this one, like he literally is just copy pasting headlines and then asking AI and then ripping TikTok videos. Funnily enough, the same way that any of the conspiracy people that he debates would be arguing their point.
Real quick thing. You understand that transfer is not the same thing as ethnic cleansing, right?
You understand that Benny Morris has said that it's ethnic cleansing and that that's a euphemism.
Hold on. No.
That's right. If Israel was to forcibly transfer all Palestinians out of their territories to keep the land for themselves, effectively cleansing the land of the indigenous ethnic group, that wouldn't be ethnic cleansing. How silly. My BFF Benny Morris told me so.
Like, I think a broad general problem with
Benny Morris.
Arabs in the Middle East is they genuinely believe like Jewish conspiracies are like the underpinning of their entire understanding of the world. The Jews control all of the West, all the banks, all the countries, and that's a thing that a lot of believe. I don't know how relevant that is to their day-to-day life or how much it matters, but yeah, it's probably a problem.
This is a fucking insane thing to say out loud. Arabs in the Middle East have been dealing with Western imperialist aggression for their entire lives. Palestinians watched Zionist militias invade in the 1940s and murder entire bloodlines while stealing entire villages. They watched their land being usurped and given to settlers while
the bullshit map. The map, not the map!
a system of apartheid was built around them. There's no fucking conspiracy here. This is their personal lived history. Their family members slaughtered. Their homes stolen with all of their possessions inside. If someone came to your house with guns, murdered a few members of your family, and then forced the rest of you to leave with just the shirt on your back while they kept your house and all your stuff, your hatred of those people would not be based on any fucking conspiracy. And this is not ancient history. There are people still alive today that were displaced during the Nakba, and many more from 1967 when Israel did it all again. These are victims of Western colonialism and a cult of Jewish supremacy. But this kind of dismissive bullshit doesn't work on American supporters of Palestine either. People think Jews control the West and all the governments and the media and the blah, blah, blah. How silly and conspiratorial. Well, it's not Jews wholesale. It's Israel. It's Zionists, both Jewish and non-Jewish. They do have an outrageous level of control, most obviously in the media. The pro-Israel bias across nearly all Western media outlets is so blatant that to deny it is pure insanity. It's so self-evident that I don't even feel the need to expand on that statement. Then there are all the mergers. Did you hear about the latest one? Paramount, Warner Brothers, CBS, CNN, and HBO are all under one entity, owned by, can you guess who? Larry Ellison, the Zionist scumbag who bought TikTok, and for the exact same fucking reason. When Zionist oligarchs have this level of command over the media landscape while also having their hands in military AI and all kinds of other imperialistic shit, it means being able to execute whatever heinous acts they want and then completely controlling the narrative surrounding it after the fact. To say that the vast majority of mainstream media outlets are controlled by Zionists is not a fucking conspiracy theory. It's a statement of fact. You don't have to stop at CEOs either. Look at who is selected to disseminate the narratives. Editor-in-chief of CBS News is now Bari fucking Weiss, whose right-wing propaganda outlet, the Free Press, was one of the biggest mouthpieces for Israel in the past 20 years. And what did she immediately do when she got there? She gutted the outlet and ousted anyone with an ounce of journalistic integrity, including 60 Minutes correspondent and 37-year veteran Scott Pelley, who publicly proclaimed that Bari was hired to kill the place. With the ship now sailing where Bari wants it to go, guess who shows up on CBS News?
They're coming from the Pentagon, NASA, the CIA, the FBI, and the Energy Department. So let's bring in Avi Loeb, who now leads the White House UAP Council. Avi, what can you tell us? What's in these files? What are we looking at here?
Well, first, thank you for having me.
Avi fucking Loeb, the exact fraud I debunked that made Destiny cry about how I use the word Zionist excessively. Zionists take over CBS, hire a massive Zionist stooge to run the news, and they immediately host the Zionist fraud who spews bullshit about the UAP psyop coming from the government that is also held hostage by Zionists. Funny how that works, huh?
This is like a speech from American History X. True!
Speaking of which, let's move on to the American government. To deny the overwhelming Israeli influence on American politics is even dumber than denying media influence. In 2024, AIPAC spent $126 million supporting pro-Israel candidates and smearing anyone who dares utter a word against them, which is why not a single Republican senator or representative, and even very few Democrats, will publicly oppose Israel. This is a foreign country severely influencing U.S. elections and undermining the democratic process. This shit runs so deep that it even trickles down to positions that have nothing to do with foreign policy. Check out this clip from when Mamdani was running for mayor of New York. Hey candidates, first foreign visit as mayor, where would you go?
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? That's right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo?
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my fourth trip to Israel, followed by my fifth trip to Ukraine, two of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines.
My fourth trip to Israel. Like, I think give me a fucking punch card. On my fifth one, I get a free ice cream cone at the wall.
The global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani?
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
All of them except Mamdani would visit Israel. They're so excited and so proud to brag about how much they love Israel, the genocidal...
Yeah, there's a lot of Jews in New York City, bro. It's cringe, but...
ethnostate, and how, as the mayor of New York City, it would be so important to them to visit Israel. Why? Why the fuck would they do that? This isn't the president, not the Secretary of State, not even a senator, a goddamn mayor.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. It's because Israel is watching constantly.
It makes no sense. Only Mamdani had the balls to say that he would stay in the fucking city he is the mayor of like a normal person. When Israeli influence has infected American politics so thoroughly that it shows up in bizarre ways like this, you know the system is completely broken.
How about when weird pro-Pally shit infects the media so much, the mayor of New York City is talking about how he's going to arrest the fucking prime minister of fucking Israel. I'm going to act an ICC warrant. Come on, bro. Oh my God. I can't wait till everybody sinks into the Mediterranean and we don't have to ever talk about this fucking region again.
Anyone who denies this is a gaslighting asshole. Well, Destiny is one such asshole, and it's finally time to listen to him talk some shit about me. Ready for this thing? Let's dive in.
I wish you'd mentioned anti-Semitism less. You have genuine important points to make regarding Zionism and genocide, arguably more, or importance debunking pseudoscience, but bringing them into all sorts of pseudoscience debunking just muddies the water. You helped me deprogram from my scientifically absurd upbringing, and for that I'll forever be grateful. Please help others understand Avi is a grifter fraud without bringing Judaism into it one step at a time, mate. There's no muddying the waters here, sweetie. Bro. Oh, shit. I remember reading... Dude, Dave's comments on this video were fucking wild. Holy shit. Avi is a Zionist douche. Using the Zionist play for deception and victimization. No. This was it was either a subreddit post about his video or the comments on his video. But basically like a Jewish fan would show up and they'd be like, hey man, like I agree that like this guy is really bad in the misinformation, but like, do you really have to call him a Zionist crazy person when that's not relevant at all? And he was like, listen here. I get into the mind of the Jew, and I find them, like... And I didn't mention Judaism. I said Zionism. Get a grip. This kind of, like, rhetoric right here, you know you don't. This is Nazism right here, right? It is. Deception and victimization are, like, the two key pillars of kind of neo-Nazi belief. It's the idea that Jews are secretly behind the scenes controlling everything to deceive you, and they deceive you about that control. And then the self-victimization is they constantly harp about the Holocaust. Oh, my God, we get it. But the reason why they have to harp about the Holocaust is because they have to center their victimhood so that they have an infinite blank check, basically, to deceive you and to control society. It's kind of crazy to just, but whatever.
That's right, folks. I'm a neo-Nazi for pointing out Zionist tactics of deception and victimization. All the deception Israel engages in to gaslight the world into supporting genocide, that's not real because Stevie says so. The victim complex they espouse, perpetually claiming to be the victims of terrorism while they commit heinous acts of terrorism, that's also not real because Stevie says so. In reality, there are no neo-Nazi tactics afoot here. Instead, there is only the Zionist tactic of irrevocably tethering Zionism to Judaism so that they can shout anti-Semite at anyone who points at their disgusting behavior.
I mean, how could you separate the two? You have a diaspora of people. Well, not anymore now because they have Israel. But prior to that, yeah, it was a huge people without a country that they felt like, so they didn't have their self-determination. Yeah, what do you mean? How could you separate the two? What, like...
Any assault on Zionism must be an assault on Judaism as a...
It doesn't have to be, but man, you motherfuckers muddy the water so much, it's impossible for it not to be. At this point, this guy unironically believes that 9/11 was caused by the Jews. Like, Jesus Christ, with no evidence, too. This is like the worst fucking video I've ever seen by this guy in terms of research. It's the TikTok clips of the spooky music in the background. The same shit that he would make fun of any other fucking conspiracy theorist for using.
Whole because they say so, no matter how obviously impossible this false equivalence is. Zionism is not Judaism. There are countless non-Jewish Zionists serving Israel and reaping...
Countless? No, a very, it's like 90% of Jews think that Jews should have at least one state to themselves, which is Israel. It's a huge percentage. People always say there's countless. No, there's not. You probably even could count them in a couple months. I don't know. How long would it take a human being to count to 2 million or whatever?
The benefits of its imperialism, and there are countless...
Oh, wait, did you say non-Jewish Zionists instead of non-Zionist Jews? Sorry, hold on. Maybe I thought I
So, no matter how obviously impossible this false equivalence is, Zionism is not Judaism. There are countless non-Jewish Zionists serving Israel and reaping the benefits of its imperialism.
Oh, sorry. He said non-Jewish Zionists. Okay. I think that is true for evangelicals. They're weird.
And there are countless anti-Zionist Jews.
Oh, okay, there it is. So just copy-paste all that. Move that around, ads.
Not that many in Israel, of course. We're talking about Jews around the world. But there are even some in Israel.
Just 7% of Jewish Americans identify as Zionists. How is that phrased? What? Identify as in like would call themselves that, or believe that like Jews should have a state? Oh my God. The AI answer, I can click this, is this was a survey published in early of 2026 by the Jewish Federation of North America. It revealed, okay, so this is the survey label breakdown. 37% identified as Zionist, 8% identified as non-Zionist, 7% identified as anti-Zionist, and 48% chose none of those labels. But okay, good one, Chief.
Anti-Zionist Jews. Not that many in Israel, of course. We're talking about Jews around the world. But there are even some in Israel. There are even anti-Zionist, ultra-Orthodox Jews in Israel. Want to see what happens to them?
Holy shit, the video clip that starts 2 seconds before the fighting? Yes!
Serves those anti-Semites right, don't you think? No, I wasn't talking about the police officers beating up Orthodox Jews. That's not anti-Semitic, you silly goose. I'm talking about the
What does that have to do with anti? The cringe thing too is they really want to hold on to like the insult of anti-Semitism to use against like white nationalists, so that, or Jews, I guess, sometimes when they can. But obviously they hate being called anti-Semitic. It's Jesus. I don't know.
Orthodox Jews standing with Palestinians in defiance of Zionist ideology. They're anti-Semites talking about the Orthodox Jews standing with Palestinians in defiance of Zionist ideology.
I'm sure there are some that do it. I know there was a huge rift over whether or not I think it was ultra-Orthodox had to serve in the military or not because they felt like they didn't have to be in the IDF. But I don't know. I don't know if that's because they side with the Palestinians.
They're anti-Semites, obviously. Anyone who conflates Judaism with Zionism or anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, as Israel constantly does, and as Destiny just did, is a worthless anti-Semitic piece of shit.
Okay.
Zionism is anti-Semitism. I'm going to say that one more time so that it sinks in. Zionism is anti-Semitism.
Okay.
Zionism is a disgusting political ideology that has hijacked Judaism and Jewish history to justify imperialism, apartheid, and genocide. And Zionism is responsible for the lion's share of actual anti-Semitism that exists around the world as people react to Israeli aggression and misplace their anger on Jews as a whole. All moral Jews know this and speak out against Zionism the loudest, as it is
all moral Jews know this.
Their cultural identity that is being shattered by these monsters. Zionism is to Jew and Zionism the loudest, as it is their cultural identity that is being shattered by these monsters. Zionism is to Jewish supremacy, as Nazism is to white supremacy.
As Hitler tries to conquer the entirety of Europe, and I guess they think that Israel wants to conquer, I don't know how much of the Middle East. They always say the Greater Israel thing, who knows?
They are indistinguishable. Zionism is Nazism. I guess Destiny's little pea brain isn't big enough to wrap his head around that.
True.
Are you really implying that anyone who's Jewish can lie about science as much as they want, and if anyone exposes those lies, they're automatically an anti-Semite?
Bro, this guy reaches so hard. Holy shit, he's obsessed.
Avi lies a bunch about science. I exposed his lies, and in response, he just called me an anti-Semite. Exactly like the Zionist lobby that banned me from Twitter and tried to smear.
Did he, though? I'm trying to remember what he called him. He might have said anti-Semitic once, but Professor Dave starts wheeling out the weird Zio arguments real fast. So if he did anything similar to that the first time, it wouldn't. I felt the anti-Semitism from Dave. He hates him. You know he fucking hates him.
Me for exposing their lies and propaganda. Same tactic. Literally 1 minute prior, you listened to Avi say he puts a viral YouTube video to make money in which he makes anti-Semitic claims.
I mean, this one was that. Maybe your last one wasn't? I would have to see the last one, though, I guess, and the one that he's referring to.
While making zero attempt to dispute any of the science I presented. You heard him say that.
I mean, the guy believes in aliens. Yeah, he's not going to be able to dispute the science. Yeah, no shit. Hassan calls people or he calls people Islamophobic all the time for criticizing him. That doesn't mean that I become Islamophobic. Like,
he was exposed by me, therefore I'm an anti-Semite. That's the logic he's putting forward. I'm articulating that logic.
He's so ass-pained by my review of this, man. I just wanted to play Final Fantasy VII.
Clearly, and you burst into laughter like I'm pulling something out of my ass? Really? Furthermore, what's funniest about this triangle is that you and all your piece of shit Zionist cronies are not Semites. Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jews like you and...
Oh shit, I was going to say, is he doing this talking point again? This is oh shit. Now I'm remembering more why we're getting into the hardcore fucking anti-Semitic shit.
Bibi and all the rest are European. You literally are not a Semite, while Palestinians are Semites. Therefore, Zionists are, in reality, anti-Semitic. It's quite shocking that Destiny doesn't bite on this and go on a tirade, especially since this was the main thing that upset a lot of people when I posted this video. He just giggles and then moves on.
Because it's such an insanely crazy talking point. There's some alternative science-y people try to make this like weird argument that the Ashkenazi people were all bred in with so many Europeans that they can't trace any of their lineage back whatsoever to the historic lands of Israel, and that what is it? It was so long ago whenever it was like the Canaanites actually from them descended like the Jews that became the Palestinians, and so all of the Palestinians there, every single one actually, which by the way that's not even true because during the third Aliyah onwards, there were Arabs that were also migrating into that region because they wanted to counter all the Jewish people coming in to pretend that like the people that were just there had been there for hundreds of generations. This is fucking, oh my God, kill me, bro.
But for the record, this is accurate. Ashkenazi Jews like Bibi are way more European than Middle Eastern. That's why with services like 23andMe or Ancestry.com, Ashkenazi Jew is literally listed under European. I follow Reggie Watts on Instagram.
Like, this is Professor Dave? I'm sorry. He should be way smarter than that. That's an insane fucking... That's like almost race realism's levels of fucking shit understanding of, like, DNA. First of all, the section that they put it underneath, that's how we're determining, like, ancestry and origin. There are lots of papers that are written on this topic, obviously, because people go back and forth a lot over, where do the Jews actually come from? The only thing when you do these, is it genome-wide association panels, GWAS or whatever, to try to figure out, like, people where they originated from, you're just matching DNA to where, like, other clusters of DNA come from, but not where they, like, ultimately come from. I don't know how far back they go for 23andMe.
Tirade, especially since this was the main thing that upset a lot of people when I posted this video. He just giggles and then moves on. But for the record, this is accurate. Ashkenazi Jews like Bibi are way more European than Middle Eastern. That's why with services like 23andMe or Ancestry.com, Ashkenazi Jew is literally listed under European. I follow...
Okay. I don't want to burst any bubbles here, okay? And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, okay? But believe it or not, all people ultimately came from Africa. You know that, right? They didn't, like, spawn randomly on the planet. Like, you're starting a game of Risk. Like, to say that, like, oh, European, what, like, they spawned there? Like from a million generations ago, they were always in Europe? They spawned in Europe? Like, what does he think this is telling you? Like, the ultimate origination of, going back 20... I actually am curious, though. How many generations back does 23andMe go?
Reggie Watts on Instagram, and he recently posted his results. He's 11.1% Ashkenazi Jew, which is listed under European. He's also 0.1% Arab, Egyptian, and Levantine, a totally separate category under Western Asian. This categorization makes sense since Ashkenazi Jews look fucking European. This is also why the...
Holy shit, bro. True. He's one-drop ruling the Jews. 23andMe's autosomal DNA test generally goes back 6 to 8 generations, roughly 150 to 200 years, or up to 300 to 500 years in specific ideal scenarios.
These ancestry kits are tightly regulated in Israel and can't be purchased in Israeli pharmacies. They don't want citizens to find out that they're not fucking Middle Eastern. They pretend to have a divine claim to a region that they're not from. Do Ashkenazi Jews have more Middle Eastern ancestry than Scandinavians? Obviously. But over many centuries, that ancestry got diluted and they're largely European now. This is...
Like... Ooh, it sucks because he talks on, like, medical shit. I imagine he must have done some, like, race realist stuff. We're playing dangerously fast and loose with these fucking terms here. Like, the idea that, like, you used to have some ethnic ancestry back in this region, but now you're diluted by European. What the fuck does that even mean? Diluted by European? This is, like, such an insanely crazy... like, shit approach to the tons of complexities related to, like, your ethnic ancestry and Jesus fucking Christ, whatever else.
Avians, obviously, but over many centuries, that ancestry got diluted and they're largely European.
It also doesn't make sense, too, because the majority of Jewish people in Israel today are technically Mizrahi Jews, too. So, I mean, I don't think if you want to play that game, but...
Now, this is in stark contrast with Palestine.
I wonder what he's pulling this from. The wiki or this Medium article? Like, I don't think any Jew would deny that the Ashkenazi people are they're definitely more mixed with people outside the Middle East. That's obviously true. But the claim that then they have no ancestry back to the Levant is just a crazy...
Palestinians who have had a continuous presence in the Levant since antiquity.
But that doesn't logically follow either. You don't know that.
European now. Scandinavians, obviously.
How would you even...
But over many who have had a continuous presence in the Levant since antiquity.
Like, how can you even make that statement? How many thousands of years back do you think that these types of associations can be made?
Along with Mizrahi Jews, who, by the way, experience systemic discrimination in Israel, which is socially and politically dominated by European Ashkenazi Jews.
Welcome to every single country on the planet. I know that we think in the United States the only people that could be racist are white people, but every single fucking country on the planet with people of color, the darker ones always get more shit than the lighter ones. That's true in India. That's true in Asian countries. It's true fucking everywhere. It's cringe, but
It's almost like there's some white supremacy in their Jewish supremacy, which is
white supremacy Jews.
Say, you can talk about
It's called colorism if you want to look it up.
And Ashkenazi Jews. It's almost like there's some white supremacy in their Jewish supremacy, wouldn't you say? You can talk about the etymology of the word anti-Semitism all you want, and that's totally fine.
Nobody talks about the etymology. Who the fuck cares?
But the facts regarding biology remain, and
the facts regarding biology. God damn! Holy shit!
That was the main point I was making. Europeans pretending to be Middle Eastern has the same vibe as some Karen in Massachusetts.
Why didn't the fucking retards who were getting holocausted, why didn't they just fucking say that? Like, hands up, are you a Jew? Whoa, no, bro. I'm European like you, man. I'm European just like you, bro.
Bragging about being 3% Cherokee Indian. This claim to ancestral land that Zionists espouse in order to justify murdering people and stealing their homes is total horseshit. We all originated in Africa, so white people should be able to steal African homes too, yeah? A little moot since Africa was very recently the victim of European colonialism for about 100 years, but still, the logic stands. Hey, Avi, I'm not sure if you know...
Jesus, that was rough. That was a rough section. Holy shit.
But the whole world despises your ideology. The world knows your gaslighting and your Hasbro tactics. Shouting anti-Semitism at everyone that hurts your feelings is just going to delegitimize tenfold. What does that have to do with it? What does being a lying, manipulative, gaslighting fraud in order to get away with scientific fraudulence have to do with this political ideology that involves lying and manipulating and gaslighting constantly in order to get away with war crimes?
What political ideology doesn't? Name one. What are you going to cite here? For Islam, it's literally built into the holy text. If you want to get fucking religious, and if you want to be fucking shitting on people religiously, I mean, Islam has built into it the concept of lying to save yourself and lying for the betterment of your religion. Like every single political ideology, depending on how you want to talk about it, is you can look at the crimes and the bad things they've done and ascribe it to these, and ascribe it to their political belief systems. Like, are Christians all responsible for the Crusades and the Dark Ages? Are Muslims all responsible for any other fucking Islamic crime or terrorist group from today? Or what a crazy, like, he's essentializing the concept of the Judaism religion with the Jewish ethnicity, but he's also saying it's not, because I guess it's a European ethnicity. It is actually just like the country of Israel, but it's also like most of the, or I guess he's saying it's not most of the Jewish people outside of Israel, even though that poll didn't support that decision at all. But
that's a serious question.
My thing, can you be anti-Zionist without being anti-Semitic? Maybe, but if you really, really, really wanted to dive into it, there's like a big, I think it's actually a pretty deep argument, but most people aren't even close to being able to have that discussion.
Hey, jackass, why don't you try having that discussion with any of the thousands of anti-Zionist Jews who fiercely oppose Israel's genocide and co-opting of their faith?
Sure, gladly. Here's the deeper discussion. If you wanted to run that down, you could say it's anti-Zionism, the same as anti-Semitism. On the surface, you would say, no, you should be allowed to be critical of the Israeli government while still simultaneously not being anti-Semitic. Okay, sure, but that's not generally what anti-Zionism means. And if you say you're critical of the Israeli government how? If you're critical of the Israeli government in a way that you think that the Jewish majority of the state necessarily needs to not be a protected thing anymore, and you think you should necessarily allow the infinite right of return for Palestinian diaspora or whatever, and you think that necessarily it will follow from there, it absolutely will, that Jews will be a minority in the country, and then you're also okay with saying, well, if they're a minority, if they experience violence, I think maybe they should flee because they've, mistreated the Palestinians for so long, and that's okay. Then essentially what you're saying is, I am anti-Zionist, and I'm willing to accept the ethnic cleansing of every Jew from Israel if that's what happens at the end of it. So, is anti-Zionism anti-Semitism in that case? Kind of. I understand why there are Jewish people that say that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. I understand why they say that, because that is the logical conclusion, but none of you fucking retards have ever been pushed on that point in your entire fucking life, because you don't have any conversations about this. None of you do.
Discussion with any of the thousands of anti-Zionist Jews who fiercely oppose Israel's genocide and co-opting of their faith. I'd love to see that. There's nothing deep about it. Anyone with a moral compass is anti-Zionist. Many Jews have a moral compass. Are you seeing the Venn diagram?
I don't think, does anybody in the Western world ever say, is there a position for, I don't think Kurds should ever have a country? I don't even know if that's a position that people have. I think people are generally just oh yeah, they should, but it sucks for them, I guess. Israel is the state that essentializes religion and ethnicity. Maybe they should do it. Every state in the Middle East is essentially an ethno-state. Some of them it's baked into the fucking state constitutions. Others it's just de facto protected. What are you talking about? Israel's not the only ethno-state in the region. I don't know, but we don't really talk about Kurdish people much in the West. But to have a unique perspective to be opposed to a Jewish state is a little bit weird. It is also weird that, it is the only group of people where there's a name for being opposed to their self-determination. What is it called if you're an anti-Kurdianist? I oppose the Kurdish people having a state of their own. I'm an anti... I don't even know what other fucking groups appeal. I'm an anti... the fact that there's the one name, I am anti-Zionist. They are the one group of people that fucking should not have a goddamn motherfucking country. It's kind of...
Kind of missing the point here,
Oh
champ.
shit, true. There is a name for being anti-Kurdish. It's called being Turkish. Perspective to be opposed to a Jewish state is a little bit weird.
You're kind of missing the point here, champ. This is the old, but why can't Jews have a country bullshit talking point. First, ethno-states are bad.
It's the American. He's an American. I just have to remember he's an American. And his wife is an American. I don't give a fuck who's saying she's Palestinian. She's American. She's born in America and she is American. Oh, God. Okay.
Equality is good. Supremacy of any group of people over another being codified in...
What is the ethnic supremacy codified into law in Israel proper? For the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, these are fucked situations, but they don't codify inequality in like a fair law. The problem is that you have these territories that are not quite their own states, but they're also not quite part of Israel, and this dual bullshit world where Israel is trying to live in is that if you want to talk apartheid or whatever the fuck you want to call it, you would say it applies to the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, but it's not in Israel proper.
To the laws of a nation is bad. But way more important is the...
For 2 seconds, okay? This map is fucking retarded because in 1917, this wasn't Palestinian land. None of this was ever Palestinian land. This was land that existed under several caliphates that existed since the time of fucking Muhammad, since the fall of fucking Israel. Different people have owned this land. It has never been Palestinian land. All of it has been owned by fucking idle land owners, land tenants, or whatever under the Ottoman Empire. After the fall of the Ottoman Empire, after World War I, the British government and the French government made agreements to basically create these like territories in the Middle East. Was this called the Sykes-Picot Agreement? I don't remember what it was called, but it might be Sykes-Picot. But basically, they had all of these little land masses, and they're like, "Listen, we're gonna let you guys like run this for 30 years, and then at the end of the 30 years, you got whatever government emerges from this like 3-decade experiment or whatever is going to be the government that owns the state, right?" So you had the British mandate for Palestine, okay? That's what this was. It was the mandatory Palestinian area. The idea that all of it was Palestinian, most of this was deserted, okay? This whole part in here, the south of Negev, is probably still fucking mostly deserted, okay? The areas that Jewish people are buying territory in, now you can argue whether they should or shouldn't have or whatever the fuck else, but this is areas that they're buying from people. This here was the partition plan to separate out the country. Again, this area down here is mostly empty. Nobody fucking wants the Negev, okay? This is all empty, bullshit-ass area. And the Arabs didn't accept this plan anyway. And they wouldn't have accepted any plan. They didn't want there to be any Jewish state whatsoever. This is after the First War, where Israel basically carves its borders out. This is still not Palestinian land, though. This is now part of Jordan. You can call it Transjordan, I guess. It's not they extend on the other side of the Jordan River. And then this was part of Egypt here. This was not Palestine at all. And then in 1967, Israel occupies both of these territories, and now who the fuck knows what will happen in the future.
The fact that this particular ethno-state was established on inhabited land through the slaughtering and dispossession of the indigenous population. That's the more bad part.
This is what ethno-state wasn't. What state wasn't?
If post-World War II, a Jewish state was set up in the middle of fucking nowhere and built up from scratch, like in Germany perhaps, since they did the Holocaust and over...
I'm sorry. Is this really, this is politics right now? Is this a real thing? Is this a real suggestion?
Possession of the indigenous population. That's the more bad part. If post-World War II, a Jewish state was set up in the middle of fucking nowhere and built up from scratch, like in Germany perhaps, since they did the Holocaust, and over 80% of the country is open land, very few people would have had a problem with that. It's the ethnic cleansing that's got everyone upset. Do you get it now?
The real, when you really say you're anti-Zionist, what you're saying is that like you don't believe that Jews should have some special right to their own country. That's really what people mean when they say anti-Zionist. Now, that only can refer to the state of Israel because that's the only Jewish country. He cut out your explanation from the clip. Wait, what? Hold on. To dive into it, there's like a big, it was actually, I think it's actually a pretty deep argument, but wait, am I about to watch the rest of it now though? No, never mind. Oh, okay.
No, we're saying that Israel shouldn't have the right to murder and displace anyone they want. The thing they've been doing on a daily basis since the state of Israel was...
I LARPed wrong. He's playing it. Way to go, ads.
...established.
But then it's weird because they'll make these same claims in that, like, the Palestinians are for some reason entitled to their own state. I don't know why. It's one of the reasons why they push so hard for... It's like really... I don't get this. I don't give a fuck.
You don't want to continue rambling because you sound like an idiot. People who inhabit a place don't deserve to continue inhabiting that place. Palestinians don't deserve Palestine. Well, it wasn't an apartheid ethno-state. Jews and Christians...
Was it? Was it not? All types of people lived happily ever after in the Ottoman Empire and all the preceding caliphates. There wasn't a single religion that was enforced. What does caliphate even fucking mean? What is stupid? Everybody lived in harmony for 2,000 years and then the Jew nation attacked. Like, what the fuck? What is, it's just so infantilizing and stupid too. It's an American perspective. This is why I know his wife is the whitest fucking American possible. I don't even care if she's brown. She's the whitest fucking American possible because there's no way that anybody in this guy's family is remotely related to any part of the world outside of America. Only in the United States of America are you under the assumption that, I remember all across the planet planet. Every single nation was a Wakanda, or was the Muslim golden age of science and technology and equal rights, and there were gay, trans, Arab, Africans that were marrying each other, and they lived, and then the evil Europeans showed up, and they colonized everybody, they murdered everything, they stole everything, and the whole world was peaceful and great, amazing, and then all the evil, fucking terrible, fucking snowmen people showed up, and they fucking ruined everything. Everybody was so peaceful. Everybody loved it. Everybody was so happy. Like, it's so cringe, and it's such a reductive. It's not even reductive. It's retarded. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Lived in Palestine and they got along just
like, this is the guy who was saying, I think Germany should be the country for the Jews. Oh my God.
Serve Palestine? Well, it wasn't an apartheid ethno-state. Jews and Christians lived in Palestine and they got along
like, it was literally an apartheid ethno-state. Literally, it was one religion throughout the whole thing. And if you were a different religion, you were sectioned off in your own little fucking place. And you couldn't even hold members in government. It was literally an apartheid under the empire, under the caliphates preceding the destruction of the Ottoman Empire, the fall of the Ottoman Empire. Like, literally, actually, definitionally.
Fine. Jews could have emigrated in large numbers to the Levant after the Holocaust and integrated into existing societies, including...
Oh my God. Why didn't they just go after? And they definitely would have accepted them there? Are you crazy?
Including Palestine. They didn't do that.
Oh my God, kill me.
Zionist militias went in and started murdering and stealing everything. Pretty big difference. Anyway, at this point, Stevie got tired, realized that my video on Avi was hard science wall-to-wall, except for the 2 or 3 comments...
Hard science wall-to-wall.
I made on his Zionism, which he failed miserably to address honestly, and he spent the rest of the stream, which was the overwhelming majority of the stream, looking at something else. Of course, that didn't stop...
I streamed for a long time. I'm sorry I didn't watch you the whole stream, buddy.
...him from choosing this slanderous title and thumbnail. Gotta get those...
Slanderous?
...clicks, right, Steven?
He is indistinguishable from a neo-Nazi, 100%. I'll own that easy. Actually, more mask off than most neo-Nazis would be, because they realize they can't get away with this much crazy shit. The fucking... I did appreciate the race realist section, though, from Professor Dave. That was good. Wait, he did cut out your explanation. Of what? Hold on. Can you be anti-Zionist without being anti-Semitic? Maybe, but if you really wanted to dive into it, there's like a big... I think it's actually a pretty deep argument, but most people aren't even close to being able to have that discussion. That if you really wanted to dig into the you can't be anti-Zionist without being anti-Semitic argument, I think that the discussion you would have to have is, why would there be a defined unique position that denies a country for a particular ethnic group when I'm not sure of that being a position for literally any other ethnic group ever? Like, I don't think, does anybody in the Western world ever say, like, is there a position for, like, I don't think Kurds should ever have a country? I don't know if that's like a position that people have. I think people are generally like, oh yeah, that should. I mean, it sucks for them, I guess. I don't know, we don't really talk about Kurdish people much in the West. But to have like a unique perspective to be opposed to a Jewish state is a little bit weird, but that you have to get, there's a lot of different topics that you have to be willing to sift through to even start to have that conversation.
Career spans 46 years, out of which I was a Harvard professor for 33 years, during which I wrote more than 1,000.
Okay, is that what I need to listen to?
Scientific papers and 9.
The only difference is that
other like ethnic oppositional movement. Number, anti-Zionists aren't opposed to a Jewish state. They're opposed to a Jewish state in Israel at the expense of the native population. Can you name a single other like ethnic oppositional movement? Number 1. And then that's just it. Is there a single other? Wait, and then number 2, what all states are usually founded by kicking other people out or taking over the people there. How do you think the Palestinians got there? Spoiler alert, they weren't there since God put them there. Movement like that around the world. And then the other thing is that, like, technically, unless there's some uninhabited piece of land that I'm unaware of, maybe like Antarctica or the North Pole, doesn't kind of land. Like, every state is going to be denying whoever lives there some other fucking state, right? Like, or denying some other people. Like, there's only so much land, you know? Unless we go to space, then we go to space colony for the Jews. When else we ever being anti-Zionist and critical of Zionism as Israel is expressing it, a bit how nationalism is expressed in a different way. Okay, so he says I was too tired to go into it, but I literally do go into it. Even in this video, I go into it. So did he get tired of watching? Well, I mean, like, all these terms are used so fucked up. Nobody knows anything anyway. I mean, when you really say anti-Zionist, what you're saying is that, like, you don't believe that Jews should have some special right to their own country. That's really what people mean when they say anti-Zionist. Now, that only can refer to the state of Israel. That's the only Jewish country. But then it's weird because they'll make these same claims in that, like, the Palestinians are for some reason entitled to their own state. I don't know why. It's one of the reasons why they push so hard for. It's like really. I don't know. The funniest people in the world are people who push for some unique fucking Palestinian ethnic group, and they're like, well, look at the genetic studies. And it's like, look at the Arabs up like north in like where the Golan Heights are, where Lebanon is, whatever. Like, look at that. And they're like 99.2%. Like, we are different than Palestinians. Like, bro, miss me that shit. Okay, fuck. Get out of here. Stop.
It's bad for the mental health of our race. When this information spread.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I promised some other dirt on this guy. As if the genocide denial wasn't enough, here's a few other tips.
Oh! Can we... Pedophile. Let's go!
Here he is advocating for white nationalists murdering BLM protesters.
Oh yeah! The greatest hits! IMAX it up. Let's go! The rioting needs to fucking stop. And if that means like white redneck fucking militia dudes out there mowing down dipshit protesters that think they can torch buildings at 10 p.m., then at this point they have my fucking blessing. Because holy shit, this fucking shit needs to stop. It needs to stop a long time ago.
White supremacists should mass murder protesters. They have Destiny's blessing. What a great guy. Now let's shift from the disgusting to the creepy. This will be courtesy of another creator named Ryan Beard.
Ryan Beard's video, yes!
Seems to have already done the deep dive on this stuff.
A common defense that Destiny fans will give when he says that he wants to have sex with children is that he's just joking. For example,
oh my
god! These tweets where he says,
"This is why I love Israel so much," because they let you do anything over there. Just kidding. Stop.
We're hot at 10. Any pics? Check DMs. Jesus.
Okay.
That he wants to have sex with children is that he's just joking. For example, these tweets where he says, "You were hot at 10."
Like, I want to know, do you think that she sent me pics of herself at 10 years old? Like, this is just a friend that I had on Twitter. We just like tweet stupid shit at each other. Or I don't know if she's still in the community or not. But like, does he think that she sent me pictures of herself at 10 years?
Pics?
Oh my god.
Check DMs. Jesus, I've never wanted to bend someone over the hood of their little tyke so bad. I do think these tweets are jokes, very
Oh, thanks, Ryan.
strange jokes, but I don't think that him saying he wanted to hook up with this 15-year-old was a joke. You know that classic prank?
Yeah, when I was like 21 years old. Jesus Christ. Yeah, there are fucking chicks that look like they're 18 when they're younger. What do you want me to say? I'm sorry. Just kidding. I have reprogrammed my brain. I just want you to know I've thought long and hard about this, okay? And I really did. I Winter Soldier reprogrammed, okay? Never in my life, when I think back, have I ever seen a girl hot under the age of 17. Or under the age of 18 or whatever. The second they turn 18, my eyes changed. Is Keira Knightley the one in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yes.
I think she wasn't attractive in that. I know she's 17, but she wasn't attractive in that movie at all. How old was the one girl? I don't know why this name is in my head. Is it Kate Winslet? She wasn't the girl in Titanic. Winslet?
I believe so.
Was she 16? Am I crazy?
I don't know.
Wait, was she even attractive though? I don't know. Now I'd have to go back and look. I don't remember that movie that well.
What about Padme?
How old was she?
I think she was like 16.
No, disgusting then. Wait. Star Wars Episode 1 came out before Pirates of the Caribbean?
Keira Knightley and Padme aren't the same people.
Oh, no, wait, because she's the other one. Just kidding. Whatever she was, if she was under 18, she definitely was disgusting and a child.
You send your friends pictures of kids in bikinis and say how hot you find them as a joke. And to help prove that this wasn't a joke, here are some clips of Destiny doubling down on his attraction to this 15-year-old in a debate with someone named Mr. Medicare.
So this chat log, I was talking with a bunch of other esports guys, and we were basically talking about how crazy the fucking jailbait is in the gaming communities. It's what
ridiculous.
about Natalie Portman and Landon Professional?
15-year-old chicks.
Okay, no, Jesus. So they're like hot as fuck that will like try to send you pictures to like fuck you at events and shit, and it's like you have to be really careful when you navigate that.
So what is the admitting to jerking off to 15-year-olds then? What is that in relation
I never
to?
admitted to jerking off. I think I just said like this. I think the log is something like this 15-year-old chick was trying to send me, or was sending me pictures of herself, and she was hot as fuck. It's like really hard to like turn down some of these people. I think.
Wait, how old was she?
She said she was 15.
Did you get all that? Don't worry.
Afterwards, and the pictures are not nude pictures. Okay, the girl looks like she was 18 though. What do you want to say? She had fat tits and a big ass in a video game.
It gets worse.
The next child-related Destiny incident
But also, all of these logs are over not fucking kids. Also, by the way, the whole logs were, be careful when you go to events. Don't get fucking jailbaited and end up fucking a kid. But what do you want me to say, you know? I'm sorry. I hope one day I will be forgiven of my crimes in 2000.
That's because you wanted to fuck all the kids.
True. I'm just trying to hoard them all for myself.
When him and his friends, the Bro Squad, watched an 8-year-old boy shake his penis for them on a live stream.
I shouldn't tell this because I'm gonna get fucking arrested.
Yes.
Or Child Protective
Replay.
Services.
Every
I used to
video.
be part of
Yes.
this horrible thing called the Bro Squad. Okay. Fucking me, if you remember that fucking Cheeks bitch, and fucking a couple
Why do
other
you call
people
her
that
a
I've put on my
bitch?
stream before.
So mean.
We're part of the Bro Squad, and what we would do is we would go around Justin TV streams, trolling the shit out of these people. And we went around from fucking channel to channel, like fucking around. Like it was just horrible shit. We went to this channel with this fucking like, this kid was like 8 years old, and he was fucking broing out with everybody in this chat. For whatever fucking reason, this kid decides to fucking take his pants off and fucking.
We don't know why!
Dick on stream.
It was crazy!
can't
And we leave. Nobody masturbates to it. It was fucking crazy.
believe it. Oh my fucking god. It was like, I didn't even know, like, we were on Skype, we were like, holy shit. Like, we had to do like a double take because we didn't even fucking know, like, what the fuck was on. Like, we were looking at like an 8-year-old dick, like, on the fucking screen.
Yeah, don't just immediately quit the stream or anything. Really
That's what we do right after! We all quit immediately. Like, what the fuck? What? No, actually, he got me. We stayed there. We watched for hours. How old were you here? This is when I was living in Woodbridge. 23, maybe?
Soak in that prepubescent penis, but at least he's not
Oh, Jesus Christ.
grooming anyone, right?
Even though a lot of these situations involving children happened quite a while ago, I still
Yeah,
think
you didn't
Destiny
do
has
that.
been spreading harmful rhetoric around children even quite recently. A couple years ago, Destiny said that a 30-year-old randomly sexting a 14-year-old would not be grooming.
Let's say there's a person that's like 30 years old and tries to like randomly sex like 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds. I don't think that would be considered grooming.
So that clip sounds pretty bad, right?
Because oh my God. When you talk about grooming and pedophilia are not the same thing. Now, I guess now the fight is just everything is just the worst thing ever. Grooming refers to the concept of gaining a trusted position over somebody, usually it's an adult child, and then leveraging that trusted position in the future for sex. That's what... Oh, he shows it? Oh, okay.
Right, but we don't want to approach Destiny in bad faith or take him out of
Oh,
context.
thanks.
So let's try to understand the actual argument that Destiny is making.
I don't think that would be considered grooming. Now, let's say there's a person that's 30 years old and they're specifically seeking out like 14, 15-year-olds to kind of just like talk to them about their school life, figure out what the problems are, you know, be cool because you're all in your experience, and then you kind of weasel in like sex. That's like grooming, right? That would be like grooming.
So Destiny's argument is that a 30-year-old randomly sexting a 14-year-old isn't grooming, but if a 30-year-old tries to weasel their way into a 14-year-old's life and slowly manipulate them into sexting them, this would be grooming. But this argument goes against the definition definition of grooming. The definition of grooming is the action of attempting to form a relationship with a child or young person with the intention of sexually assaulting them or inducing them to commit an illegal act. Guess what?
Yeah, but it's like the whole thing was not, even in that definition, I don't know if I said that or not. Wait, fuck, hold on. Like, the action of attempting to form a relationship with a child or young person with the intention of, but like, usually it's down the line. Otherwise, you would just call it like child sexual assault, or you would just call it like abuse. Or if we just want to call like, what?
This says attempting to form a relationship. That's literally talking about the grooming part.
Yeah.
The relationship.
It's just, but like everything has to be the most extreme fucking thing ever. Like it can't be, like I don't know what you would call it, like child abuse or child rape or whatever. It has to be like grooming as well. We have to throw like grooming on there as well. It's like, okay, I guess we just want to throw grooming into every fucking
or inducing them to commit an illegal act. Guess what, Destiny? Nowhere in that definition.
Somebody said, Destiny, how does they just take everything out of context and nobody questions? Well, I feel like for a lot of this, it wasn't even taken out of context. It's just shit that like, I don't know. I just think like as a 21-year-old, like me saying like there are 15-year-olds that look like they could be 18, and when you go to these conventions, all the fucking people that are trying to fuck you don't fuck the 15-year-olds. I don't know. I don't think like if we want to play the virtue signal game of like every single person under 18 is disgusting, and only once they turn 18 can I possibly find them attractive. It's just like, this is cringe. I'm not here to virtue signal that shit. I don't give a fuck. Go do that somewhere else.
Does it say that grooming has to be a slow process?
Okay, that's weird, but those are just words and not actions.
Like what is weird about what I just said? I also hate this thing. Moeen Rabbani did this to me when I tried to say like apartheid is not like all racism is not apartheid. Okay, like there has to be a distinction here. Not all racism is apartheid. Jim Crow is not apartheid. Apartheid is like a state top-down segregation of like the races trying to like institute some concept of racial domination. And Jim Crow was like an informal, sometimes locally formal way of like being racist towards people. And Moeen Rabbani goes, if you don't think Jim Crow was apartheid, does that mean you're pro Jim Crow? And I was like, no, what the fuck? Or if I think that like a 30-year-old like trying to randomly bang a 15-year-old or 14 or 12-year-old or whatever the fuck, I don't think that's grooming. Oh, so you're okay with them raping the child? No, what the fuck? No, it's not good. A 30-year-old shouldn't be having sex with a 15-year-old. No, but I don't have to call it grooming to have that opinion. Same thing with genocide.
Right?
All right, let's recap all of Destiny's treatment towards women. Destiny sexually assaulted a woman. Destiny has a long history of sharing women's nudes and sex tapes without their consent. Destiny allegedly recorded a woman having sex with him without her consent. And in his...
That court case, dude, when my court case ends, oh man, they're going to be coming for me hard because...
messages to his Discord kitten Rose is Coming, he sent her audio recordings of men that he had slept with from Grindr and said, I went out and sucked the guy off a few nights ago and recorded the audio.
Read
it's really
my
stuffed
porn!
In my pocket. Oh, well, did I ever send
love
to you?
it!
He has a history of calling 15-year-olds attractive and sharing pictures of them in bikinis. He has a long history of getting very mad at women when they post about their sexual assaults on social media. He has allegedly abused at least one of his female orbiters and was psychologically abusive towards his ex-wife. And
what was the female orbiter I abused? Is this Lav or is this Anna? Jesus Christ.
He also admitted to choking out another one.
That shovel thing was good, LOL. No, that shovel tweet was fucking unhinged. But it was 2016. I was fucking retarded. I don't stand by the tweet at all. It was a crazy tweet.
One of his exes multiple times. However, he claims that this was done in self-defense. Wife, and he also admitted to choking out another one of his exes multiple times. However,
okay, me and Rachel used to fight. I mean, we did. That was a really rough relationship. But like, nobody is. I'm sure I've said something along the lines like, oh yeah, somebody's gonna choke a bitch out or whatever. But like, I'm not legitimately just choking this woman to death. This is not like. But I mean, if that's how you want to cast it, you know, I am Hitler. I am the most evil fucking guy.
However, he claims that this was done
bigger
in
than you too.
Yeah, that's why every fight was a fight for my survival.
Because
you better fucking believe I had to fucking choke her out a few fucking times.
Finally,
like, come on, this is a serious admission of like, yeah, I was like, bro, I weighed 105 pounds when I was dating my kid's mom. I'm not choking out anybody.
Destiny has a history of doxing and threatening to leak the nudes of women that get on his bad side.
Yeah, I didn't feel like spending a lot of time on this since it's not the point of the video, but that's a tidy summary. Sexual assault.
Is this the same genocide video we're just watching? Yes. Because remember, the only thing worse than being pro-genocide is being pro-child rape or pro-rapist or whatever, or pedophile or whatever.
Would be the big one. But he is also currently being sued for non-consensually sharing nudes of a minor, and the person suing makes it clear that this is a pattern of behavior.
What the fuck? What?
It's not even why you're being sued, right?
No! Wait. Okay. Based. King. Man, this is my Professor Dave the Debunker?
Hear from him. I'll link to that Ryan Beard video and this Substack post if anyone cares to follow up and get more details. I just wanted to briefly make people aware that there is a pattern of predatory behavior that goes along with Destiny's genocide denial. So
because it's a Zionist! Because I'm a Zionist! And they all go together. Please, God.
the rich tapestry. Speaking of being a sexual predator who supports Israel, do you think there could be a connection there? After all, Israel is a safe haven for rapists and child molesters. That's a whole separate rabbit hole we won't go down, but this is a very well documented fact that foreign sex offenders can
very well documented
relocate to Israel and exploit its laws to evade justice. Especially Zionist Jews, of course. Maybe that's why he's getting so cozy with Israel? Food for thought. Oh, and did you know that
because I want to flee. Drew. Oh, and my kid. Yes. Oh, my son.
Destiny has a son. He's 15 and a full-blown Nazi. The real kind, which actually hates Jews. Oh, and did you know that
Nathan,
Destiny has a son?
I'm so curious how many of these fucking Nathan tweets, but he does tweet unhinged shit, okay? But he's also 15 years old. Damn, what the fuck? Do you want me to tell him to have the exact opposite? Nathan, stop being fucking politically crazy. Listen, he does his own shit, okay? I wonder how many tweets we could go through of Nathan if I replaced Jews with Zionist, if he would agree with every single tweet, by the way.
He's 15 and a full-blown Nazi. The real kind, which...
Nobody at 15 is a full-blown anything. They're fucking retarded kids that LARP and type a lot of fucking retarded shit on Discord and on fucking Twitter. Like, Jesus.
Actually hates Jews and flirts with Holocaust denial. Destiny is such a shit dad that his son rebelled against him by becoming an actual anti-Semite who entertains Holocaust denial. How fucking hilarious is that?
That doesn't even make sense, though. If I'm pro-genocide and pro-Holocaust or whatever, wouldn't he be also pro-genocide and pro-Holocaust, or is he just like a different version of... It's also like... And it's cringe talking about my kids' political beliefs, but it's also like, I understand that we all like to go as hard as we can for anything, but just like, suck yourself outside of the political world for 2 seconds and just think about that statement. Like, this guy was a horrible fucking parent. It's like, why? You won't fucking believe this. Did you know that his kids, when they were teenagers, they had the exact opposite political beliefs of them? And it's like, holy shit, really? The teenage children had the exact opposite political beliefs of their fucking parent? That's unfucking believable. Holy fuck. Like,
anyway, we can go ahead and wrap things up here. There's no point in trying to summarize everything we went over regarding Israel, but we can say a few last things about people like
rapist, pedophile, Zionist.
This desperate insistence of conflating Zionism and Judaism is a Hasbara tactic. It is a Zionist talking point that is used to deflect from crimes against humanity. Zionism is not Judaism. Zionism is anti-Semitism. Trying to insulate Zionists from criticism by shouting anti-Semitism is itself anti-Semitism. It is a deflection from the very obvious facts that incriminate Zionists, which reveal who they are and what they're doing, something that any anti-Zionist Jew will gladly tell you. So when someone accuses someone else of being a Nazi simply for opposing what is essentially Nazism, they sound like a moron. So go ahead, Steven. Do your little reaction video to this. Make an even bigger fuss about what a vile Jew-hating neo-Nazi I must be. Dig yourself even deeper into this hole, because what you think you're doing to me, you're doing to yourself. You are exposing yourself.
Fuck! I'm the actual anti-Semite. No!
As a disgusting supporter of genocide, because almost everyone knows what Israel is, and now they will know what you are too. Watch your viewership bleed out until you are left completely alone in your support for the most indefensibly evil people on the face of the earth.
No!
Committing the most vile atrocities being enacted today. Shout into the void about what a progressive liberal person you are for thinking that tens of thousands of children deserve to be slaughtered like animals. It will be a fate entirely of your own doing. So there it is, my Israel video. May the monsoon of hateful comments from brainwashed Zionists commence, just like the brainwashed anti-vaxxers, climate change deniers, and every other delusional troll that infests my channel without having the courage to press play and learn something. I really don't give a shit.
We learned so much, thank you.
The rest of you, I hope there was something informative and useful in here that you can use to help others see the truth about Israel. As always, thanks for watching.
Apparently he's been live commenting on this video the whole time.
Hey everyone, as you know, I'm a scientist.
Where's the last comment? Oh, 1 minute ago. Oh, damn, there's a ton of comments on this. Oh my God, it's the Israeli bot farm! They're coming to our aid! Israel.
Gone, gone.
Gone. Destiny Blackman is subreddit, as well as on X/Twitter, for debunking his nonsense talking point that Palestinians are not indigenous. I simply referenced historical records, genetic studies, and applied simple logic. Not the simple logic. No! Not the simple logic! Thank you for putting up the strongest case in one video. I cried, and I cannot understand how people don't think it's a genocide. I am a master's student in New York, and after I reposted some pro-Palestine videos on my Instagram, I lost basically all of my friends as they unfollowed me one by one. In New York, give me a break. Oh my God. What? Meanwhile, every Jewish friend I have in fucking New York, I don't wear my jewelry anymore. But okay. Maybe it's different neighborhoods. Oh, we got a reply 3 minutes ago. Oh shit. He's in there. "45 seconds ago!" Yeah, Destiny's a fucking toddler. Whoa! Oh, I should like comment stalk him. Hey, since you debate people so regularly on topics, and since you feel so confident on this one, you should stop running, and we should have a debate on it. Jason.
Good start.
This is heartbreaking. I had much respect for Destiny. I have cheered him destroying MAGA idiots for years, but never seen anything on his views of Israel. What? Where have you been? Destiny's always calculated everything in cold hard facts. I just hope he really isn't being paid by Israel. Hey, Israel. You know where to reach out, okay?
I thought Dan was the money.
Not enough to be pro-Israel. Not certain when Destiny started to scoff at people calling out Israel, but part of me thinks it's probably related to his beef with Hassan. True. Dude, the moment you put up Batman out of clips, I can't take you seriously. You guys, or you need to look into that guy. He's a creep. What was wrong in that clip, shithead?
Wait, did he call him a shithead?
Yeah.
This guy's fucking losing it.
What? No, that's just how he acts. That's Professor Dave.
He insults everyone. Okay, I've never watched a Professor Dave video.
Well, based.